Hey everyone, you are listening to the 6th episode of the Giantbomb Community Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, and I'm Ghost Yet, since Fat Meg is still absent. And joining me today is Nyx Iron.
Hello.
Red and Black.
Man, Kraken.
Good start. Akbar the Great, who is not aware that this podcast is a trap.
It's Geekled Shotgun.
After using the shotgun all game, I heard that so many times I didn't want to hear it again.
But there's two of them. It's he called Shotgun and he wanted to ride Shotgun.
And there's also I called shotgun.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's also I called Shotgun.
And Alice, would you kindly say hi?
Well, howdy, y'all.
Well,
How's it going up in this here?
That was underwhelming, to say the least.
yeah.
Man, I've got to work
There's
on that.
too much build up.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be back this week.
Like, dude, I was on the edge of my fucking seat, and
Dude, don't say Ed.
Well-
Remember last week?
Well,
Also, nobody mentioned it but we also have the star of the upcoming Call of Duty game, Ghost.
I introduced myself as the first, you dick.
He's
And so you didn't mention your huge role in the next Call of Duty game.
Oh, of course.
what was it like
What
to
about
do
my
that?
huge role in Dota as Nick's assassin?
what about my
All of
huge
this is
role?
gonna get cut.
What about my huge role in the best game ever, BioShock?
What about your huge role in the Ayn Rand novel Atlas Shrugged?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was
Also,
in
on my-
Star Wars.
Also, on my intro, I think we can all agree that what I really bring to this process is disappointment. So I would say that we are on par for the course so far.
On par with Bioshock? Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
Gentlemen.
fuck you.
That's right, I went there. That's right. No, I like Bioshock.
Them's
Gentlemen.
fighting words, sir.
It's
Gentlemen.
a fine game, except for the gameplay
Nice.
part.
Gentlemen,
It's amazing.
Hello.
Gentlemen.
Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon. Let's start
Blood
this bitch
Dragon.
with a heavy hitter.
Okay, so I will reiterate what I said when we were doing the build-up for this, which is that I have played, I think, maybe an hour of that game. I don't think I've got to the part where it gets good yet. Sort of.
You haven't.
I think it's good already, it just gets better.
I think it's
Yeah, I
good,
kinda with Ghost.
like the first 5 seconds, so I don't know.
I'll also say this. I got to sort of the first cutscene where I felt like I really should be laughing, and I wasn't, and I don't know what that says about me going forward for the rest of this game. Like,
I didn't
have a sense of
laugh
humor.
out loud for most of it. I mean, it's a lot of like, yeah, I remember that from the 80s, but the actual like hilarious, like good writing is kind of more sparse.
yeah.
Well, I found the end of the game had a lot of laugh out loud moments. For
Yes.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
when you're walking down that hall and all those lasers come out, that was... I
Yeah.
laughed out loud.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
me.
I mean,
Genocide is fun.
I was thinking there's two things that this game is missing. There's really one major thing that this game is missing, which is they needed to set this in some kind of factory that only produces like flame and sparks, right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
that's in every one of those movies. Is a factory
Yeah.
that makes nothing but large amounts of flame and steam.
Or a
and
smelter or
sparks.
something.
No.
Yeah.
There is
Oh
kind of that
shit,
part.
how great would it be if the last boss fight took place in a smelter?
It would
It's
be,
Oh
missing
my
that. It
God.
needed to have that.
it would be very
And then-
transformative too.
Rex Cole
Hey,
gave
Blood
a
Dragon
thumbs
2.
up.
What I like about the game most is it doesn't rely on stupid like meme humor, which is always
Yeah.
lame and outdated.
A little bit,
Wait.
but not too.
There's a
Yeah,
little
but it's
bit,
not
yeah.
obtrusive. Like
No.
even Saints Row has moments
Definitely.
where I just roll my eyes, and it was nothing like this happened during Blood Dragon.
Well,
But wait,
It's not like
okay,
it's not
I-
like Guacamelee, which I did not find that fun in Guacamelee at all. There are a few little things like in the beginning it mentions the definition of insanity.
That was really good, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. I really didn't like how every time you got a TV, he just said, "What do I gotta do? Collect some fucking feathers?" Or
Yeah.
I hope I don't have to collect some fucking flags. And it's like, yeah, I played Assassin's Creed too.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I like the
Yeah.
line where he collects shit is, yeah, I got another one. Wait, what the fuck I'm doing?
Yeah, that one was
That
good.
was pretty good.
See,
Oh,
I
and-
didn't think that like there was too much of that to begin with. Too much like fourth wall, self-aware. Like
I know, I think it
I'm
worked
making fun of doing something stupid, so that means it's funny. Like no, that just means you're still doing something stupid.
Yeah, the tutorial
Yeah.
is the absolute worst at that. I mean,
Yeah, I
don't-
didn't think it was as great as everyone else. As everyone,
I like the
I've-
story.
I-
I thought it was
I
fine.
I agree with Jeff. I think that would have been a lot better if it was in a different game. That would have been really funny if you put it in some other game that was a lot more fourth wall-y than.
Yeah, maybe.
I think what they should have done is just committed and done the whole game in 4x3.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really like that.
Oh.
I was that as well. When I saw the loading screen that's 4x3. I'm like, they really should have put the whole game like that. But
Yeah,
Well,
because
not
it's
the whole
just
game,
this weird
gave
disconnect.
an option to do it.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know
mean-
if I can handle it, but
That probably was one where Ubisoft
yeah,
came from on high and said, "No, this is too that you can't."
they should have
you can't do
forced the resolution to 640 by 480 or something.
that." Yeah. The other thing is, it had apparently been a while since I'd finished a Ubisoft game. I had forgotten how long their credits were.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Those are interminable, man.
That
But you
shit
can
is
skip
intense.
those.
Yeah, I skipped that.
So actually, you don't skip the first song on that credits because
Yeah, the first line.
that's
great.
pretty good.
Yeah, well, I waited until the song faded out, but I skipped that. And I was
Yeah.
actually shocked for a moment that I can skip a Ubisoft credit. Because fuck
Yeah.
me if Assassin's Creed 3 and Rayman Origins was the fucking worst when it came to
Oh, yeah.
watching through, just sitting through these credits.
I mean, at that point, you beat the game, just Alt F4, and you're like, oh, whatever, good enough.
Yeah, but
you
they've
get
started
Chivos
doing that
and
thing where they
unlocks
put
and
like,
shit.
and they started doing that thing where they put little, story like stings and teasers and stuff at the end of all the credits. And
Yeah, which used to be
like,
acceptable.
like at
Marvel.
BioShock and stuff. Like,
I let them run, but I just sit. I usually, if they're boring, I just sit there with my iPod and I don't know, just do whatever.
If you
Play
have
an
trouble,
iOS game.
I can tell you what happens at the end of every credit sequence ever. Like Nick Fury shows up and asks the protagonist if he wants to join the Avengers Initiative. Yeah.
Are we talking about Nick Fury became Samuel Jackson Nick Fury and was a white guy, or post Samuel Jackson Nick
No,
Fury?
post.
Well, post Samuel Jackson. Yeah.
And I thought that was really weird that he just went from a white guy with an eye patch to Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, he's kind of
Because he's
actually been
based on
Samuel.
the Ultimate
Ultimate.
line.
oh yeah, that's right. Comics.
Ladies and gentlemen, that whooshing sound you just heard is that previous sequence of jokes washing over Atlas's head.
Hey, do you not read American comic books? Come on, man.
You don't watch superhero movies?
No, fuck no.
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
I was to say he's not crazy.
Fuck both of you.
Yeah, superhero movies are awesome. Fuck you guys.
Hope you die.
I've come
to go back to what Atlas was saying earlier.
I'm going to bury you two guys under a blanket of my shit.
To go back to what Atlas was saying earlier, the story missions, like by the end of the game, yeah, they're amazing and they're hilarious and they're awesome and you should play through it. The side missions, particularly the hunting missions, are
Super
really
repetitive.
kind of fucking shitty.
I don't
And they're
know.
not shitty in like a winking, funny way or a clever way or a self-aware. They're just really fucking shitty.
I thought they were
Yeah.
fine.
Hostage
What's the
missions-
I like
I
the
don't know.
writing, the fluff before the mission and the titles. Like I like the
Yeah.
fact that there's a mission where they told you to save a scientist, and they say in the description that let's call it Susan, and then the title pops up and it's desperately saving Susan.
Yeah, but then you have to actually go do the
Yeah,
mission.
but that shit was the same in Far Cry 3, and it didn't bother me that much. That mission takes a minute to do.
That's not an excuse. I mean, the hostage missions were a little bit better because if you wanted to, you could approach them like tactically and try not to alert anybody and like
Yeah.
play it in a stealth kind of way. But once you got all the upgrades to your guns, you don't even have to do that. You can just wander into the middle of
Yeah.
the crowd and shoot them.
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
There was that part of Far Cry 3 which was before you had the suit that made the mercenaries not shoot at you because they thought they were runners, and before you had all the guns upgraded, where that game was fun. Where like tactically I needed to think in approaching bases, and I'll be honest and say actually in the sort of starting to play Blood Dragon a little bit and liberating my first outpost, I kind of had this feeling of, you know what, I played 24 hours or so of Far Cry 3 and I kind of feel like I might have had enough of that gameplay.
Yeah.
Like maybe
Like, dude, in Blood Dragon you can go a lot crazier.
Yeah,
There
You
go.
haven't gotten the good shotgun yet.
yeah, I'll
That is
he
a
has got
huge
the-
part of that game is to get the
Oh,
good
he also has
shotgun.
got the freaking Cobra Khan yet, or the
Yeah.
good upgrade to
No,
the
he-
Cobra Khan.
He probably has.
I think I'm level 5.
I never
Yeah, you
used
did
the
it nice.
Cobra, so there you go.
Oh
I think
man,
I'll take your guys' word for it on sort of the late game. I'm just saying that I just wanted to make it clear that I'm heading into the rest of my Blood Dragon play with more apprehension than I perhaps was expecting.
I would just say really just if you want to have the best time, just stick with the main story
Mhm.
missions
All
because
right.
those are the best
Yeah.
part of the game, and they do
Hey,
it does get better as you go on.
but there aren't a lot of them, so I think
Yeah.
after like the third one, stop and just do the side shit. You know.
Or
Get 'em as much
pick
as
the weapon upgrades you want to get. Go get all those upgrades, and you'll be ready to go and get all right.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess what I did.
Well,
I said like I want the fire shotgun quad barrel before I finished the story, so I went and did that, and then I went and did the story.
And laser
Right.
pistol shots.
I didn't use
Laser
anything but
shots.
the shotgun ever.
The
Phaser
laser,
con's pretty good.
yeah, the laser upgrades on that assault rifle are really, it makes that gun a lot better. It really
Yeah.
does.
No, I failed to do that because I was already complacent in my usage of the shotgun.
The laser makes that without the laser upgrade, that assault rifle is really kind of shitty. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
once you get the laser, that thing is freaking awesome.
Am I supposed to say, and we're back or something? Or simply...
No. Just
No, just say. So, how did you guys feel about the music or something?
Okay.
also, when you say Kavinsky, who are you referencing? That's
I'm
just a
referencing
reference.
Kavinsky, like the artist, the music artist.
A first name would help.
I think that's
Kavinsky is
the
his
name,
name.
guys.
Kavinsky.
Have you
Nah.
have you seen Drive?
I have seen Drive, yes.
Yeah, the Night Call
Uh,
plays in the intro. That's Kavinsky. Yeah, the music's pretty good. Film's fine.
Yeah.
I used a Kavinsky song for our outro 2 weeks ago. If you listen to that, you'd know.
I did listen to that actually
Oh,
because I wanted to make sure that my Crusader Kings 2 conversation monologue wasn't interminable.
No, it's fine. I still want to play Crusader Kings 2, but I don't want to pay full price for it because I'm an asshole. So
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I'm sure.
I'll get
Summer
that on the
seems-
summer
seems
sale.
so.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah, it can't be that far away.
I mean, I fucking bought like Euro Truck Simulator 2, so it's not like I'm not opposed to buying games that are
Money well spent.
whatever, man. I like trucks. Okay.
No, I'm agreeing with you. That game is awesome. I played 60 hours of that game.
I would buy Railworks if it wasn't like so expensive. I just want like just give me like a self-contained train simulator. I love trains. I don't know why.
Yeah, that
Right.
DLC stuff, man, is crazy.
It's like $1,100. Like no thanks. So I'll use a picture of a train instead of an anime girl this week.
Anime train girl. Think about it. Also, I think we can all vote Euro Truck Simulator 2 best quick look of the year so far.
It's pretty good. Anything with Vinny in it's pretty good though.
It's just everything. Drew was on fire in that one. Now
Drew-
screw it, call Adele.
So how did you guys feel about the music?
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. It was I like that music it's just so good. Like it just washes
Phenomenal.
over you. Like it's that might be the most like period appropriate part of that game.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's probably
guess-
the
Yeah.
only game in recent memory that I can think of that I have to have my speakers on to play. Like I needed my speakers on to be really loud to play this game. just
Hotline
because of
Miami.
that music.
I listen to it in headphones. It's like the digital version of like a womb or something. It's amazing.
So I know I've said this like 100 times to all of you guys, but if anyone really likes that style of music, check out Kavinsky, Kavinsky. Just search that. He did the song that they use in the intro to Drive. It's all that style. If you like that stuff.
Also, the Sonic Youth and College have some stuff like that too.
Yeah.
We should probably mention the guy who actually is on the Far Cry soundtrack is
Yeah,
Power Glove.
Power Glove.
Power.
Yeah.
He's so bad.
There are multiple bands named Power Glove, and he is not the most well known of them, but he's still pretty good.
There's one that's like a metal band, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a metal band that does game covers.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was for at first. Because
Their Wikipedia page lists one of their genres as Nintendo Core,
Nice.
which officially
Thanks, man. I fucking hate everything right now.
I know, as if the suffix core wasn't meaningless enough already.
Are you sure it's not Avant Video Game Core?
I don't know, man.
It's as if the prefix Nintendo wasn't irrelevant anymore.
Ooh, shots
Ooh.
fired.
oh,
Boom.
I'm in a bad place right now.
I wasn't actually listening because I was looking up the Supsun face on Google.
Hey, fuck you. You missed my sick burn.
Not only the music, but all the sound effects were like the perfect kind of like 80s, like, public license, like
Yeah,
standard
yeah.
repeated, like.
yeah.
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure I
I'm
had
su-
heard those
yeah.
laser sound effects in movies, like those exact effects in movies.
Also, I
Actually, I
know we
think
haven't
those are
explicitly
the
mentioned it yet, but training montage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
It's
Team America already did that joke.
Yeah.
like,
But still, it's still pretty good.
Best
the sex
scene,
scene.
best sex scene in the
The
video game.
sex scene is
Incredible.
awesome.
Guys, it sounds like I have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah,
Dude,
the
you
sex
have
scene
no idea.
is really
This-
great.
But the worst part about this is that this is all within the last 30 minutes
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
game.
It's all kind of backloaded, but it's
Yeah.
definitely
I don't know the last part of that game, the gauntlet before the last
from the
cutscene.
Mortal Kombat reference onward. It just gets a whole new level of.
Incredible, yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah, so
test
I-
your might.
And when I walked up to that
Yeah.
thing, it was like, test your might. I was like, wait, really? That's where we're going? It's like, Doc, I got the kill star. Like he says, like he knows what it is. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually now feeling really motivated to play this game because I'm just so annoyed that I'm just sitting here not able to join
Dude,
in on all
really.
these jokes.
Really,
It's
dude.
really, it is.
I feel
It's-
like-
Dude, finish it, and we're gonna joke about it next podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like such
So
a
good.
lame kid right now. Just
That's-
you know,
I just want to say,
Skip all the stuff you have to look forward to that we have already experienced and can never have that joy again.
all
Yeah.
the
part
stuff
with all those lasers. The part with all those lasers. Like I was actually laughing out loud uncontrollably at that scene.
sentient hang gliders with fucking machine guns on them is something you have to look forward to.
God, that's that. The ending
That-
is really worth it.
The ending of that game is so ridiculous.
So to go back to referencing memes from the internet, I wanted to mention this briefly because it actually did come up this week in the whole like Nyan Cat and Keyboard Cat owners trying to sue Level 5 for making Scribblenauts, but that's kind of a separate issue. Anyway, I felt like it was handled like totally fine in Blood Dragon compared to, let's say, Guacamelee, where it's handled totally fine until the point where you get the running derp or whatever it is, and at that point you're
Oh,
just
the derp, yeah.
derp.
See,
my
my thing-
we're done
my
here.
thing about Guacamelee was there's a part early on where you walk into like the fighting room where you like learn your different combos,
Yeah.
and it's just a wall of like 30 of them.
Yeah, but
And
those
it's just
are-
like
it's
here's the keyboard cat, and here's whatever it is. Like it's just plastered all over a wall. It's like, look at all these memes. That's funny, right? It's like, no, it's not. You just showed me a bunch of stuff I've already seen on the internet for like years.
It's kind of
That's
like,
A lot of it's
It's
way
the-
outdated too.
yeah,
is
it's
this
kind of
really Family Guy level of humor?
hmm
Yeah.
Like the game is
But
really
there are-
good. I think they do themselves a discredit by doing that kind of shit. But,
Yeah.
But there are some decent jokes in there. Like there's the Viva Pinata store.
Yeah.
The
Little stuff is fine, but when it's hitting you over the head with it, like
giant bomb
uh,
reference.
yeah, the giant bomb versus Destructoid is pretty good.
The El Linko versus the Mega Man one.
Yeah,
Or was that someone else? Yeah, but there's like good jokes too. It's kind of sad that they focus so heavily on the memes and that.
But those aren't
the-
jokes. They just showed you the meme.
Yeah, it's just
and then it's
late-
like, and you're
Yeah.
supposed to laugh at it. Like,
maybe
no,
that's
I'm
what
seeing
other one
it.
is good, right? Because it's like, hey, there's pinatas in here, and I know they do call the shop like Viva something, which is pretty kind of blatant, but like. Yeah, it's like, do you want camera references or do you want subtle references? Like the Terminator gun in Blood Dragon is not like overt to the point. They're not like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
terminate these guys. Like,
No,
Yeah.
there is like you will have to. There's a joke where they say you will have to terminate this guy at one point in that game.
oh well, they didn't say it directly in reference to the shotgun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But there's like the Casa Crashers.
yeah,
Like, hey, remember that game Castle Crashers? Yeah. Well, this is Casa Crashers.
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Like,
It's Spanish.
where's two
It's just
Woolworths
it's all
really-
the memes. It's just a meme in Spanish. Done.
Yeah.
Guacamole.
So I've actually got
Yeah.
a question about that. Do you guys think it's just? Do you guys think they're using the wrong memes? Like, do you think it would be funny if it were?
No, I think
because I
No, I just think they're using memes, and that is wrong.
Yeah.
right.
It's not humor.
I think
Are you
there's
guys?
a case. I think they could use memes if they use them well. If they
Yeah.
set up the joke fine. I think
Yeah,
Far Cry 3
exactly.
did
If they set up the joke, but this is basically
Yeah, it's not. It's no.
memes just in a
Yeah,
in a vacuum, told to nobody.
So are we in a general anti-meme?
No,
position?
I'm not anti.
No.
Just anti.
I'm anti-laziness.
Laziness. Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, if you
Yeah.
want, let's say you want to make a stupid joke, like you want to reference arrow in the knee, right? The proper way to do it would be like you're in a battle with a bunch of arrows, and some guy goes, "Oh, my knee," right? And you're like, "Oh, I get it," right? But it's not like blatantly out there. It's not like some guy goes,
Yeah.
"I used to be an adventurer." Oh, my knee. It's not like that. But like in Guacamelee, it's just like it's not even a joke. It's just there. It's just like, hey guys, guess
Yeah.
what? Here's that fucking IKEA monkey.
Igusta!
Also,
Aha!
an IKEA monkey is at the IKEA that I go to. How do you feel about IKEA monkeys? I thought it was pretty adorable.
It was, yeah, I don't know. I kind of, to go back to the Blood Dragon thing, I'm in this weird position where I don't think it's particularly different, the memes related humor in comparison to them just making a bunch of jokes or references to 80s films that I've never seen.
Well,
Like-
the thing is, they're
Because
actually
here's the
making
difference. Here's the
jokes.
difference. Here's the difference. In Guacamelee, they are just straight up like putting a picture that you've seen on the internet in their game.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
In Blood Dragon, they're referencing the tone and they're trying to call to mind a certain
Sure.
aesthetic and a visual tone to it and everything.
Like the shotgun from Terminator is different from walking through the game and finding a VHS tape called The Annihilator, which just has Schwarzenegger on the cover, right? Like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can't comment on Guacamelee because I haven't played it.
it's
but,
good. It's a good game, but
Yeah,
It's a good
but
game, yeah.
I get around to it. I don't know how often stuff goes on sale on PSN. I haven't.
just get Plus, man. PS Plus is amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Us,
I'm a recent converter to PS Plus, and I highly support it. Also,
I don't
Do you
you
have
get
a
Demon
Vita?
Souls for free, man. You get Demon Souls for free. That's
Did you
Jesus.
just
I
ask
already
me
have
if
Demon Souls. Do you have a Vita though, Nix?
Yes, of course. Of course, I say as if that's a thing that
Yeah.
people have, right?
Yeah, you and about 50,000 other North Americans.
Of course I do. What are you talking about? Who wouldn't have a
Who
Vita?
doesn't?
Really?
Yeah.
Wouldn't have- Dude,
If I get a Vita, I think I might do that because the instant library thing seems like that would be something I would actually find useful.
like the discounts.
Yeah.
I didn't buy any stuff on discount because it's like I wanted to buy Devil May Cry again for like the 5th time, but I was like, am I really gonna play Devil May Cry 3 for like the 50th time? Probably not. So,
Next.
yep. What's up?
Wait, wasn't that the?
Since we're on the topic of the Vita, does anyone want to talk something more about Blood Dragon?
I'm excited to play more of it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Next, since we're on the topic of the Vita, talk to me about Soul Sacrifice before
Alright.
we move to other
So-
things.
It's an elaborate game, and I'm not going to go into incredible detail here, but I do want to mention a couple things that, like, on the Bombcast, Jeff discussed it briefly and seemed to kind of dismiss it outright, which is fine if it's not the kind of game he wants to play. But he did not, like, they talk about missions where you kill a bunch of little dudes, and it's just, like, boring, right? Flat landscapes, whatever. It's like, yeah, of course it is. The basic premise of the game is that it's like a boss battle game, right? But I don't know how long it takes to get into the boss battles, because I played the demo for, like, 25 hours because apparently I'm a crazy person, let alone the final game. But the overall structure is just kind of like learning different boss patterns and then beating that boss and not dying in 2 hits, which tends to be the case. So I think that if people are interested in the game, not to dismiss it because they somehow would be swayed by the opinion that it's simplistic. I feel that the Giant Bomb crew in general definitely did not justify any opinion on Soul Sacrifice. Not that they don't do that with plenty of games all the time. I don't really care. 'Cause they don't have to love every game, right? But it is a lot deeper than they imply. There's tons of customization, tons of different spells and different things you can do, different ways to So one of the main premises in the game that I don't know if they mentioned or not is the whole idea of sacrificing versus saving people. And so in the general gameplay sense, it's like, oh, you kill a little enemy and you can save him to restore some health or sacrifice him to restore some cast of your spells. When it comes to actual characters like other wizards who you're either playing with as AI partners or online with 4 other people, when you sacrifice someone, they are gone, but you cast an incredibly powerful spell. When you save someone, you cut half your health off, but you restore them an equivalent amount of health. So it becomes a lot more interesting when you're online and you're like, hey, can I beat this boss alone? And is the sacrifice spell going to be more valuable to kill the boss than bring this guy back? So, like, say you had one guy in your team who was just constantly dying and not knowing your teammates. All you do is go sacrifice him, and there you go.
Nix,
Yeah, what's
Can
up?
I ask you a question?
Of course.
What the fuck did you just say?
Sacrifice?
Everything.
Everything? Well, maybe you should play Soul Sacrifice.
Yeah.
I don't
Out
have.
now on the
I don't have a Vita, and I think I'm okay with that.
That's risk and reward, right?
Yeah.
You
I mean,
can kill your
I've
friend
heard.
permanently from a game to get more power for yourself temporarily. Make that
Right, okay.
decision as you will. That's kind of interesting to me, I think, personally.
I've heard some people saying that this might be one of the first Vita exclusives that sort of justifies the system. Do you think that opinion that view is in any way merited? Like, is this a quality of game to be
Yes,
a system
it's-
seller, whatever that means in 2013?
I think the game is absolutely excellent and incredibly high quality. However, I don't believe it's a system seller because the mass appeal is simply not there. You have
Yeah,
to
it
be
definitely-
incredibly interested in this, you're not necessarily incredibly interested in this sort of game, but like you have to have an interest in this sort of game, and it is not easy at all. So you have to be interested in playing this game seriously. It is casual Call of Duty. It is not, any sort of like play it just for fun once in a while kind of game.
It's kind of sad to say, but can any game actually be a system seller in 2013 if it's not an action game, be it a first-person, third-person shooter or whatever, like an open-world game, like a
GTAV. Or a Mario game, right? Yeah, I know.
Or a Mario game in that specific case for the 4,000 people that bought Wii U's. I don't know.
Hey, for me, Monster Hunter literally a system seller, but I'm more of the Japanese kind of guy anyway. So.
Okay, so that brings me to another question: How appropriate is the Soul Sacrifice Monster Hunter comparison?
You fight bosses in both of them as the main focus of the game. That is the only similarity.
Okay.
Soul Sacrifice looks really visually like impressive. Like it's a good looking game. Much more so than Monster Hunter, I guess, is what I was getting at.
I'm sure if Monster Hunter came out on a modern system, it would be fine.
It won't.
Yeah, I know. Nintendo's got that shit locked up, but I don't know. Soul Sacrifice is really good. I'm obviously going to cut this because we're tons of pausing, but it's not going to sell any Vitas because it's a niche game for people who already like Japanese games. It's too bad.
Yeah.
Like I'd love the Vita to sell better so I get more games on there, but for me, I play it all the time. I've played hours of it, and I play it almost every day, so I really enjoy it in general. I think it's really fun.
It's interesting to me that it's kind of a continuation of something that happened with the DS, but with the 3DS, it seems like Nintendo has carved out this sort of niche of Japanese, just style games. Like,
well, DS had a strong library too, especially in Japan.
Yeah, I mean the DS was kind of the platform of choice for JRPG players.
Yeah.
For the past.
The PSP actually would be the choice for JRPG players. There's tons of stuff, especially Japanese. A lot of it didn't come out over here, so it's hard to actually judge. But there are some really excellent JRPGs on the PSP. Like
was
Tales
the sequel to
so good.
Was the sequel to Valkyria Chronicles a PSP game?
Yeah, it was, and it was great. It's really good.
Yes.
I still need to play Valkyria Chronicles. I think if I was going to play a Japanese game tomorrow, that would be it.
I would highly recommend it. It's really good, and it's hardly a JRPG, but it's excellent. The story is a little JRPG-ish, but whatever.
Like the gameplay is pretty much like more like XCOM or something.
Yeah,
all right.
It's like I keep saying Valkyrie Profile 2 as if somebody else has actually played that game. It's incredibly similar to Valkyrie Profile 2, not just in the fact that both games have the word Valkyrie something in it. But
Nick, I hate to break this to you. I have no idea what Valkyrie Profile 2 is.
It's a really, really good PS2 RPG with a combat system similar to Valkyria Chronicles. So
I will take your word for it.
If you really like the system in Valkyria Chronicles, I recommend checking it out. It's still good.
All right. I'll put that in the back of my mind.
Might be hard to get though, because it's a little expensive on the used market, as from what I recall.
Oh man.
I had the PS3 one when it first came out, and I traded it in many years ago. It's a really satisfying experience. It's long. It's good.
I never mind.
It's like
$10 on Valkyrie Profile too, so no problem.
So do we have anything else to say about Soul Sacrifice?
No.
No, it's good. If you like Soul Sacrifice, you probably already know it, which is kind of the sad thing. So there's not much.
I kind of get the impression about that.
It's just Monster Hunter, right? Like, I don't think many people are going to discover they love Soul Sacrifice without thinking they already do.
Well, I don't know. It kind of seems like the most recent Monster Hunter did seem to attract a fair new bunch of converts.
I think that might be the Dark Souls crowd, though. And I know everyone's sick of fucking Dark Souls monster comparisons, but the way you fight bosses is essentially very similar. So.
Also, people just want anything to do with their Wii U.
Yeah, that too, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's that Crackdown thing. If you give people a system and nothing to play on it, then they'll gravitate to what the hell they've got.
Crackdown was fun though, man.
I never played Crackdown. I'm just going. I'm doing that terrible. I'm doing that terrible thing that people do on the internet where they are regurgitating things that they've heard as
quality opinions.
Yeah.
So how was the Mass Effect 3 ending, guys? I heard that was like.
Fuck you! Don't open that fucking rabbit hole. I'm going to strangle you.
Yeah. They were contentious.
I totally liked Mass Effect 3, which is the worst part.
I'm going to strangle you. That's why I'm trying to stop you from talking about it.
Move on to let's talk about
Amalur.
Amalur, yeah.
Atlas, you've been playing Amalur and you've been enjoying it apparently.
I have in a way.
Sell me on Amalur because I could buy it right now. So sell me on Amalur.
I'm not sure that I could. Oh, okay, all right. So
try.
the way to sell Kingdoms of Amalur is to say, yo, do you think that the Elder Scrolls game should have better combat?
Yes.
If yes, play Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, I mean that's not. I didn't. I thought the combat was fine in the Elder Scrolls games, especially
No, but-
Skyrim.
Yeah, but Amalur is actually, I think, has like pretty good combat, even outside of the Skyrim comparison.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm.
It's just
I'm
damn
one of
good
the-
combat. Like
I'm
it's
one of the
fucking, like it's taking all the good rules from I don't know, God of War without being mashy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, so,
Okay, all right, I
Okay.
got you.
Yeah.
So just to establish where we're at with my playing of it, I booted it up this week for the first time. My connection being just that I fucking love a good RPG, and the connection of the somebody's typing in is really distracting me.
sorry. It's my
Is that
dad.
driving anyone else?
It's my
that driving
dashboard, and yeah, it drives everybody nuts. I know.
Yeah. All right. Let me take that one again. So yeah, just to say where I'm at with Amalur is that the reason I started playing it, I booted up this week for the first time, just because I fucking love an RPG, man. I'm an RPG guy. Some of my all-time favorite games are RPGs, and the connection of it being that it's one of one of the original sort of minds behind the Elder Scrolls putting this game together. I think. So I went into it not really knowing what to expect. I mean, obviously at this point going into Kingdoms of Amalur, it's hard to sort of detach it from the fact that, hey, this is the game that killed a studio and put a Rich Gallup out of a job. So
Well, not this
That
isn't-
game didn't kill the studio. Kurt fucking Schilling did.
no,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
The MMO might have had a hand in that more than the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say this.
Yeah.
This wasn't the game that killed the studio. This was a game from another dead studio that had been reanimated to try and
I'm
prolong
obviously-
the life of the MMO making studio. But
it's a good thing that I was being reductive and not entirely serious about that. But all right, so just to say that that aside, I think there are some things that Kingdoms of Amalur does. I'm about 10 hours in at this point. I think there are some things that Kingdom of Amalur does really well, and I take relatively strong objection to quite a lot of the stuff. The main one being that. So to make the Elder Scrolls comparison to me completely falls apart, because I think if you're going to make a game that's in any way like that, you need to have an interesting world. You need to have a world that
Yeah.
I want to explore, and that is the biggest failure of Kingdoms of Amalur.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I would agree.
I have
The
no,
writing in the Arcel is shit.
I have no connection to the story at this point. Like, the world feels pretty flat and sort of like I'm going to incredibly repetitious environments and fighting the same enemies. Like, it's kind of a problem that people have made with some of the Elder Scrolls games in the past, like the environments in Oblivion being really repetitious. I think the art style is okay in kind of that cartoony, World of Warcraft.
It doesn't
Yeah.
go enough.
No, it doesn't.
Like if that game looked like Darksiders with just like very meaty fucking guys, it would look a
Yeah,
lot
and
better.
I liked the look of Darksiders. I also think the Darksiders games are like technically better, like they look smoother. I don't know. I think the combat in Kingdoms of Amalur is pretty good, and I think one of the strengths of that is just the variety of weapons and abilities they give you. Like, there's a ton of different types of weapons in that game. But the only problem is that a lot of them do essentially the same thing. Like, there
Mhm.
isn't that much of a distinction between using Feyblades and using daggers, which daggers seems to be an incredibly viable way of playing that game. Also, it's really easy. Also, so I got a hot tip. Go ahead. Sir.
No, I said that's what I've always heard about this game. Like from everyone I've ever known that.
You know
played
what?
it.
The problem with Amalur
Incredibly
is
easy.
that you can overpower yourself way too easily.
Yeah,
Like if you don't play that game on hard, if you do every side quest you find, you're fucking yourself over because that game doesn't scale very well.
yeah,
Yeah, but
so
even when it
I,
doesn't scale, well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to complain about the fact that the enemy design doesn't lend itself to higher difficulty anymore.
Yeah,
Than just
yeah.
like all they do is hit you harder. It's not like it's more tough. Like all the enemies just kind of like wind up and then attack, and that's
Yeah.
just every single enemy. It's not like there's like anything other than that going on. So if you want difficulty, even on max difficulty, when you get killed one hit, it's not
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
difficult,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
but it's way too easy to overpower yourself. Even
Yeah,
Skyrim
yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Skyrim doesn't have the same problem.
and they might give you enemies that have different patterns and different strengths, but it's basically going to be the same routine, which is I found. Did anybody play that game using blocking? Because it seems completely pointless when you can dodge.
You can cancel your attacks apparently, but I never did it.
Yeah. I got pretty deep into the fighting system, so.
Basically, I just feel like I've spent the entire 10 hours of the game just rolling out of the way of stuff and just hitting them with attacks until I break their like animation pattern, and then you just wail on them. Like the daggers and the great swords.
No. I agree, because I got pretty good at playing Amalur, the combat side, but I did that against the game because I could get through it really easily, but I kind of forced myself to play by the rules I set upon myself, and I felt that, wow, this is a very competent, very cool fighting system. Like some of the weapons, like the chakrams, actually work in some interesting ways. Yeah. But it's just a shame that it's a shame that the game doesn't really lend itself too much.
Yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I'm incredibly grateful that I got the hot tip from you, Ghost, which was to put that game on hard, and I did very early on, and I've still just had almost no problems. Like they've got all sorts of different crafting systems. I've been mostly leveling up my blacksmithing because I always do that in games. But there's potion crafting, there's alchemy, and all this other stuff, and there were only like so many battles where you're ever actually going to need that stuff. Yeah. Like most of the time, it's just these creep waves. Basically, if you want to want to inject some more Dota 2 into this podcast. I'm at this moment just sort of balancing like how much am I willing to put up with of the not particularly interesting world, not particularly visually arresting world.
I agree about the world and the plot and the look, but this is kind of what you have to expect when you get overpriced artist Todd McFarlane and overpriced and overrated writer R.A. Salvatore. So
yeah,
I don't see the Todd McFarlane in there. I love his art, but like, where is it? Like if that's Todd McFarlane, then he has lost his touch. Because like it looks fine, but it's nothing special.
Like, Salvatore took a plot, because the setup of Amalur is actually quite interesting, because the stories of the True Fae can be done really well, like in the World of Darkness Changeling RPG. But Salvatore doesn't do any fucking cool with it.
It's just like fucking like I hate to always do this, but it's just like fucking Tolkien again. Like really, there's elves, dwarves.
But I mean, at the same time, if you're trying
fantasy, though, it's
but some do it well, some don't do it well, and Kingdoms of
it's all about. It's all about execution, because if you want to boil it down, Dragon Age Origins is that too, and that is one of my favorite games of all time. And
it's actually good. That's what makes the difference.
Exactly. Yeah. And the codexes are interesting to read if you want to get the world backstory, and the characters are interesting to talk to. Like, there's some good voice acting in this game. Nobody has anything like. They don't have Bethesda's writers, which I think is one weakness that doesn't quite translate into other people trying to make this sort of. It's almost weird to describe it as.
Bethesda writers in what way? Because if you mean the guys who write the lore, you're right. But if you mean anyone else, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm mostly talking about the lore stuff.
Yeah,
the lore. The dialogue.
The dialogue and the plot, because.
I'm not going to defend the plot, but I definitely think that there is some good, well-written dialogue in the last couple of Elder Scrolls games. Do you know what? I played 200 hours of Skyrim and just basically, did all that with one character.
So I have a question for you about that. How many times did you hear the phrase, "You've been a good friend to me," and that means something?
About as much. About as many times as I heard every other random phrase in that.
In times.
It's a problem with that game, but
I don't think that's such a problem. Is it like the fact that he's there every single time you teleport to the main city, right there talking to you?
Funny. The thing about the comparison is just that Skyrim does so many stuff that's not only outstanding but unique, and there is, from what I've experienced, there's a lot of stuff that's good. There is nothing that I have seen yet in Amalur that is outstanding or unique.
Okay, I was actually going to ask that, because the best moments in Skyrim are when you're standing in front of a temple at the top of a mountain, and it just feels like this gigantic, mythic, huge thing. And I guess I'm getting the vibe that there's none of those kind of moments in Amalur.
Amalur's kind of got this thing where there's a world to go out and explore, there's no real sense of place to anything, and
It's
there's
so
definitely
segmented, right? Like the fact that it's all cordoned off into little corridors between areas kind of completely destroys the sense of open world that you might have in something like Skyrim.
Yeah, and to
Okay.
be honest, that's the most disappointing thing. Just a lack of a desire and making exploration boring just can kill the momentum of that kind of game. And you can get around that. But I mean, exploration isn't a key mechanic to Dragon Age. You just go from set piece location to set piece location, and that works fine for that game. But Amalur's going for the Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls thing. So far, I just don't think they nailed it. Like it's kind of at this point, I'm kind of thinking that is going to, for the next week or so, be my game that I sort of play, just with my own music on or whatever. Like, this game is fun enough that I can go buy it.
Yeah, it's like Euro Truck Simulator. Just put it on, whatever. Not hard.
that was my quintessential headphones game.
Yeah,
it's like you got that was perfect for that. But yeah, I like the combat enough, and it's enough of a loot grind. I mean, I think the loot is another thing that they do pretty okay in that game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to play more of it. I don't know how, if I'm going to reach breaking point at some point, but yeah, I maybe hope for a little bit more.
Well, speaking of pretty good loot grinds and action combat, I've been playing a lot of Neverwinter lately, which is
me too.
An online version of Neverwinter Nights. Well, not really, but
I am curious about this.
So I really like it honestly, so far. So obviously it has all the MMO trappings of like running dungeons and all that shit. So yeah, if you hate MMOs, then don't even bother. However, if you are interested in some sort of like easier, it's pretty easy, pretty relaxing. I don't know. I'm playing a wizard. Apparently wizards are fucking OP, so couldn't tell you if it's actually easy or not. But I have no problem killing stuff.
Well, they should be. They're fucking wizards.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that kind of the point?
I don't know. I like being a wizard, so.
Yeah.
And many times I've walked.
Wizards shouldn't be always overpowered. So.
Fucked up. Yeah, well, it's a D&D tradition, man. You played like 2nd edition. Oh man, or even 3.5. Wizards are completely insane. And so are any spellcaster in 3.5 is not.
Wizards are still like OP'd in 4, so.
Oh really? I haven't played 4 because I don't.
Yeah.
Shit.
I mean.
How's 5th edition? Who's played 5th edition?
Me.
Is it already out?
What's it like? I don't know anything about 5th edition. I know we're supposed to be talking about Neverwinter, but let's talk about 5th edition D&D for a second here.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even know it was out yet.
I played I talked about it like 3 weeks ago.
I don't know if you talked about 5th explicitly though. Anyway,
I spoke about 5th since I played.
You said you played a test campaign and it was horrible. And that's all.
Yeah.
I'm like, it sounds like 4th campaign, but.
I think we had just about enough.
The system side of D&D 5 doesn't seem really appealing to me. It's kind of dumbed down, but not quite.
Yeah. So speaking of dumbed down D&D, now let's talk about things about Neverwinter that are actually unique to Neverwinter and not other MMOs. So.
Okay, I just started looking about this today, and this is interesting to me. So maybe I'm gonna pick this up.
I'll save the best for last. So.
Okay.
You've got 5 classes, which are based on, I assume, 5th edition style of classes. They have Guardian Fighter, Great Weapon Fighter, Trickster Rogue, Control Wizard, and Devout Cleric. And I don't know what that class naming structure is from. Maybe 4th, 5th edition. It's not. When I played D&D, I don't know what that shit's all about.
Is it possible for you to explain this game without comparing it to tabletop games?
No, it's based on D&D.
Well, no, I know that, but I mean,
I can compare it to other games if you want that aren't tabletop.
Okay. All right.
This is just especially relevant because it's directly based on Dungeons and Dragons, and those are the classes they're taking from. So instead, you've got the tank, the 2-handed weapon guy, the rogue, the mage, and the healer, right?
Yeah.
So that's more a gamey way of saying it.
Okay.
The basic premise of the game is, guess what? You do quests, kill some dudes, pick up some items. A lot of the quests are like solo instances, which is kind of different from a lot of other games. It's more like if you ever played City of Heroes or City of Villains, they had a lot of this solo instance stuff, which is similar to this. Like go to the sewers and fight a bunch of rat men and all that stuff. They're all. I find the variety quest to be totally fine. I don't find it to be repetitive or boring or anything like that. Generally, they're challenging enough that it's like I can't be listening to a podcast and eating lunch at the same time while playing. I need to pick one of those two. On Other than that,
The
there's
combat is okay.
I find the combat really enjoyable as a wizard. There's tons of stuff to do. I can a lot of my spells are based around controlling as a control wizard. I suppose that's appropriate. So I can like pick one guy up in a force choke, freeze another guy, and then slow the other.
I'm playing with the sword and shield, so the combat as the melee combat is actually pretty good. Like you have to.
It feels pretty satisfying.
Like you have to like manage your shield. Like and shit. It's not just your typical MMO drab where you just select a target and click it and just press one all over again.
I was about to say actually, like you say, this game has good combat, and I just wanted to make a point of saying, is that by MMO standards, which are usually poor?
Yes.
I would say I like combat better than Amalur.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a real weird comparison.
That is a really weird comparison.
Yeah, but it's
like
why would I?
fair MMO.
Why would I want to play this over like any of the other dozen MMOs that have?
Because we are playing it.
Let me.
Well, of course, and you guys are awesome people, but like I mean, just in terms of
say that with a little bit more
That's one word.
sincerity,
I
red and
suppose.
black.
yeah, just like in. I mean, why would I want to play this other than something like I don't know, World of Warcraft?
World of Warcraft's really good, so I don't know. But so here's the thing that is the compelling thing to me, right? So what they have is called the Foundry system. Now, this is something they had in the City of Heroes and City of Villains as well. And what it is that any player, I believe, can design their own dungeons or quests or instances.
Ooh.
So
Any player who is at least level 15.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Or I believe, or maybe spent real money, something like that. I'm not sure what the limitations. But the thing is, so you can basically create your own D&D style adventures with a DM and all this kind of RP stuff, and then other players can play them and rate them up, and you get experience and rewards for playing them just like real quests. So I've played a bunch of them specifically for this podcast, so I could talk about it and not legitimately and not just be like, yeah, they sound cool. So I played a bunch by this guy, and I was actually really, really surprised and impressed at what he had managed to do. So instead of your usual go here and kill 10 guys quest, what he had done was you had to go gather information. And so you'd actually have to talk to people in certain orders. Each talking to certain people would allow you to say other things to other people that would be more relevant, like, hey, this guy told me to come talk to you, and he trusts me, so you should trust me now. Very much like an actual RPG and not MMO quest, right? So it was really, really, I was really impressed by it, and I'm really excited to. I believe they're going to open up to make actual like 5-man dungeons as a player, which sounds fucking awesome. Like that's just such a cool idea, and like obviously the good ones get voted to the top, and they have to have certain quality standards, and they're evaluated and all that. So you're not going to find like, hey, here's a room with just a bunch of loot in it, some shit like that. So it's not broken.
That actually does sound like a really cool idea.
Really,
Is it like do you have? Are you like making these quests in like pre-made environments, or like what's the level of like creation that you can
I believe you can choose any. I should have gone in and tried to make one this morning, but I didn't. And I will do that, and if it's relevant later, I'll bring it up. But I believe you can choose from any of the environments in the game. You can certainly use indoor environments, outdoor environments. I've had quests where I go through different buildings and go to different areas, some of which I have seen while I'm leveling, and some of which I haven't seen at all. I know you can actually use the zones in the game as instanced zones for your own quests. So if you had like, you have an entire zone with like castle ruins and all this stuff, and that's full of mobs normally, but if you want to use it for your custom quest, you can put whatever you want in there. You could make it a little town, you could make it like an enemy stronghold, stuff like that, which I think is really, really neat.
That's really cool, yeah.
Here's a question. Do you think this is a better or a comparable portal into hilarity and sort of user-made craziness as something like WWE 13?
No, all the stuff.
No.
It's
like have you seen the ghost problems of
course.
Neverwinter yet?
No, and Neverwinter, no, because all the ones that are voted up are like dead serious straight RP stuff, which people are, because if you play D&D, you're into real RP, not like.
Yeah, no, sure. I ask a facetious question, but I understand.
I guarantee you could make silly quests. I'm just not sure if they would gain popularity because of the attitude of the player base.
But that sounds really quite compelling. I have to say, I'm almost in the back of my mind wondering why hasn't anybody thought of this before.
Star Trek Online did it. City Heroes did it.
Okay.
Is it like can you make items for it? Like can you make like the reward at the end of a quest line is to get some like sixth sword that can?
I'm not sure how it is so far. I've only gotten like I've gotten actually one piece I used for a while. I don't think you can customize what the loot is though. I can't imagine.
Yeah, that seems like that'd be game breaking. That just.
I mean, I'll go in and try making one right after this podcast, so I'll be able to let you know eventually.
All right. Well, report back. Our man in the field
Exactly. Well, me and Ghost are both playing. Ghost, so what level are
man.
you to now?
Like 8, 9.
Okay, yeah.
It's
The
super
game-
quick.
the
It
game
doesn't
really-
take long to level up. So
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm level 36. On my,
I've played it literally for maybe 6, 7 hours, and
I've probably
months.
played a few hours each day for the last week, and I'm already level 36. It's really quick. So, no.
Like I'm halfway through almost halfway through to 20, and I've played maybe 6 hours of it.
So here are my complaints. One, crafting system is basically like a free-to-play Facebook game. It's kind of like time-based. Like it takes 15 minutes for you to process these wool scraps. That's kind of disappointing. The other thing is,
I bet you can pay real money to make it go faster, right?
Of course you
Yeah.
can. But,
here's the other thing.
2013.
but the FTP, the free to play, doesn't seem to be too obtrusive so far.
Major complaint. Now this is a beta. I do not know whether this is final. However, all gear is BOE. So depending on how you feel about that, it may be a big impact. Yes, that does mean you can spend real money and buy a full set of tier 2 epics from the auction house the second you hit 60. I hope they change that because that's complete bullshit. But
Yes, buy on equip.
here's my main problem: is that when you roll in a dungeon, anyone can need roll on anything. So if I see a two-handed sword as a wizard, I can still need roll on it. That should not be allowed. I assume they'll fix that for the actual release, but if not, that's a big black mark on the game. Other than that, though, tons of fun. I've done a lot of grouping and soloing. Oh, I do have to mention though, when you're in a dungeon and you're gathering up for the final boss, everybody has to stand near the door, and it says you must gather your companions to venture forth. So thumbs up on that one.
All right,
All right, Atlas. I know you-
Atlas, you had a stupid question.
I have a very stupid MMO question as somebody who has literally. Okay, my MMO experience is that I played 20 minutes of World of Warcraft, and I remember almost nothing about the experience. My question is, I want to try out this MMO thing and see what it's all about. Like, it's 2013. Like, what game should I go? Should I just go fucking play more World of Warcraft, or do we feel
no.
like there's? Do we feel like there's actually a game? Well, you say that, Akbar, but
I love
you know,
Warcraft. I just don't play it personally.
I
mean,
no, because it's not good anymore though. That game is just so like
It's still an
crippled.
absolutely excellent game. It is nothing like vanilla. If you played vanilla WoW and love that,
Yeah.
like WoW today. If you've never touched WoW, you're gonna be amazed. The stuff that's in that game is gonna like blow your mind. There's so many hours of content, so much cool stuff to do. Like,
yeah, it's
consider someone
it's
who's never even seen a single zone in WoW, and there's like hundreds, and then there's all these dungeons,
Yeah.
all this stuff, all these.
Okay,
It's-
fine, yeah.
it's something that I remember from the at the end of 2011, the end of Star Wars Galaxy stream, which is Andy, the former, well, he might still be, or whatever has succeeded with me. Basically, a guy who worked on MMOs back in the day, Ubisoft, basically saying that it's impossible for a new MMO to come out and be better than WoW because they've had so many years at this point to refine its systems. They've got so much content in there now. So I'm kind of my problem, however, is that I'm not sure that. I mean, how is the lore? Like, I kind of don't know at this point
In
whether
WoW?
people pay. Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
bad.
At this point.
It's alright.
Yeah,
It's kind of
I
bad.
don't know at this point whether
It
people.
used to be really good. It's
No,
so convoluted now.
it's never.
You know what?
Oh, well.
I think your enjoyment of the WoW lore depends on if you enjoyed the RTS Warcraft
Essentially
lore.
a retelling of Warcraft 3 and some previous stuff. Up to 60, up to 60 it's kind of new lore, and then it's just like referencing a bunch of old lore. I don't know. If you love Warcraft 3's story and you're like, I need more of this, then yeah, WoW's got some good lore for
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of the
Yeah.
stuff in Warcraft 3 was completely retconned and butchered
Yeah,
by WoW.
it's been
So
destroyed, so... I don't know.
Yeah,
For all the
to me,
the quality of Blizzard, the story writing has never been impressive to me. I don't know why that's the thing they can't do right, but whatever.
to me, the lore isn't nearly as important as like the stories that I kind of like write myself through the gameplay. Like there's like 6 of us. We're all
Emergent
going through
narrative.
this dungeon. Yeah, exactly. I was pointedly trying not to use that, but since you did anyway, it's fine. Like you're going through the dungeon and we're almost dead, and then at the last moment I get a heal, and then we kill the last boss or whatever. Like those are the stories that are
Yeah.
good.
or
So-
when you meticulously plan an instance and then some dude just only goes on the keyboard and just Leroy Jenkins. Oh shit! I said that.
Yeah.
Guys, you mean when you queue up for an instance, wait 15 minutes, enter the queue, and all Zerg the boss and kill it for epic loots? Yeah, no, WoW's definitely downhill. But anyway,
Can I quit?
That's why the whole point about Neverwinter for me is exciting is that it's the user generated stuff. Like no matter how much gear you can buy on the auctions for real money, no matter how bad the crafting system is, someone's always going to make a really awesome D&D adventure for me to play through, and that's not that no one can take that away if they're allowed to make it, right? So that kind of stuff is what I'm interested in playing. And I want to make some D&D adventures because I love D&D and I used to DM a lot, but trying to get 5 people together in real life apparently is an impossible task these days.
Let's do an internet RPG session.
I'd 100% be down for that.
Let's do a Skype
I
session.
think we should do that. I think we should do that.
All right, I'm down.
Because
We want to play
I'm down too.
like 3.5.
Let's play Cyberpunk
I'll play Cyberpunk. All right.
because it's dumb and stupid and it
Wait, we
doesn't
should
work.
play Paranoia then.
Oh shit, that would be great.
Yeah, because that's really funny.
Okay,
Anyway,
next
we'll talk about
next
this later.
week there is no podcast. We're
We're just
playing
gonna play
Paranoia.
Paranoia. Yeah. We can
All
play
right.
Traveler, but Traveler is stupid. I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
All right, moving on.
God, you guys have so much to teach me.
I love D&D. What can I say?
Moving on to the Twitter game of the year.
Speaking of games where you need somebody else to teach you what the hell's going on, Candy Box.
Yeah,
Candy Box.
the game's stupid.
It's great.
Of course, it's stupid.
It's great.
It's stupid in the best possible way.
Shit, did I close my Candy Box window? Fuck.
I was trying to save and it would not connect to the server.
Oh no.
I
Or
can now
something.
officially say that my favourite thing about Candy Box, having never played it, is just the distress in Nix's voice at that realization.
You don't understand,
That is my
It's a
favourite.
lot of lost
You
work.
know
I
how
don't
many
understand.
lollipops I didn't get?
I don't even know what that means. I
that,
don't know.
that right there is the reason you should play Candy Box.
Yes.
I watched that Unprofessional Friday segment and just was like,
Oh yeah. yeah.
maybe Ryan isn't the best person to take you through that kind of game, but
the
I
question is like, do you want to beat Chuck Norris and the Devil? Like, then yeah, you should play Candy Box.
Do you like
can
candy?
you beat Chuck Norris? I thought that there were
I beat
rules
Chuck
to
Norris
this.
just this morning in Candy Box.
I'm pretty sure the internet has been very clear on the point of not being able to beat Chuck Norris, so I don't know what the fuck is going on with
The
these
internet's
candy
wrong.
assholes.
This is new canon. This is the new 52 of the internet.
So what is this game apart from a candy sim?
Okay, so do you know
Have you ever
actually-
played? Have you ever played Progress Quest or 2D Tetris
Or
1D
Kingdoms of
Tetris?
Loathing.
I have played
or
none of
Kingdoms
these.
of
games.
Amalur Reckoning?
I have played that game. Let me tell you about
So
it.
that's something like
Um,
it. So, it's basically like a game about discovering stuff as you go along. Like it doesn't make any sense when you start, and it kind of makes a little more sense when you go along. And you're like, "Oh, this is an RPG." Don't cut off.
you
I'm
play-
trying to.
Did you
It
play
has-
Frog Fractions?
I played a little bit of Frog Fractions. And
Did you
got
get
the,
to the part where Frog Fractions get crazy?
I got to the part where it becomes a text adventure and
Yes,
got
and this is
really-
basically what Candy Box is on a lesser scale. It's basically kind of like a light RPG, like I don't know, a mod maybe.
That's
and-
bad because I got really bored at the point when Frog Fractions became a text adventure. I don't know what that says about me.
You can
I'm
play
obviously
Candy Box like in the background while you're doing work or something. Like it's not really
Yeah.
active in development.
What it has done is it has completely automated all of your resource gathering.
Yeah.
right.
Like you don't have to go out to do anything to get more resources. It just takes time.
I think in a weird way I might have played a game that in some ways is like this because my great shame is that last year I spent a significant amount of time playing the Settlers Online, the free to play sort of. The thing about that game is that it's kind of that thing where you're accruing resources even when you've logged off, which sounds like it's not exactly like Candy Box. Because from the sound of things, you actually need to still have the browser open to be collecting shit in Candy Box.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I talk to me about Candy Box. What's going on? Is that game a roguelike? Is that game
No, it's not.
secretly
It's
a
not,
roguelike?
it's not even really a game. Like it's really not. Like it's barely a game.
Right.
Like it's
Dude, just motherfucker.
it's
I'm gonna,
Using those potions is kind of gamey though.
Wait,
Yeah.
Ghost is hurting right now. What's up?
I'm just going to post you a link to this fucking game, and you just can take a look at
All
this
right.
at yourself.
Okay. All right.
Because
Well,
it's kind of hard to
right?
describe it
Half the
without.
fun is like finding out that there's stuff you can do.
We are going to get live on the air. Atlas
It's-
tries.
It's an emergent gameplay experience, whatever.
It's a
This will be
.NET.
good. I want to see this happen.
Buzzword,
Okay.
buzzword.
It's a .NET address, so we've already got something positive here. Also, it's taken a while to load.
Yeah, mine wasn't loading. I don't know if it's down right now.
Yeah,
It is
it
down.
might be down.
Shit.
I think it's down.
Guys, I have bad news. McAfee's site advisor doesn't like Candy Box. Apparently,
I've got
You
bad
tell
news.
McAfee to
You've
go
got
fuck
McAfee
himself.
yeah. Why do I always forget that I still have this piece of shit installed.
Yeah.
Like, guys, fuck McAfee. I'm visiting anyway. Nothing stops the Candy Box train.
And now you'll never know.
No, I'm loading it. I'm trying. It's sending a
While you're
request.
loading that, what else do we actually have to talk about?
Google Chrome could not connect to candies.anyway.net.
Yeah. All right. Injustice
Bum, bum, bum.
DLC.
So basically, Batgirl has
Really?
been confirmed as the second DLC character, was just fucking terrible.
Batgirl,
More like bad girl to be in DLC.
Who is excited for Batgirl?
Can I ask a dumb comic book question?
I'm
Yeah.
excited for more females to be in games.
Go on, ask a
That's
stupid
fine.
comic book question.
Why don't we like Batgirl?
It's not that we don't like Batgirl,
she's
it's
another
just,
Batman
just
character.
a lame. Yeah, it's a lame character to put in this fighting game. We already have like
especially
7
since
Batman
like the
characters.
a quarter of all the characters are Batman characters.
All right, so let me give you an example. Right. So let's say you're playing Marvel vs. Capcom, and they announce new characters, and they're like, "Hey guys, we're putting in another Street Fighter character." And it's like,
Can I ask another stupid comic book question? Like
Sure.
you say that they're just putting more Batman shit into this game. Isn't that kind of what DC's got at this point? Like,
No,
isn't that
Pretty
kind
much, yeah.
No.
Also,
no.
you guys, like, half of the characters in this game are lame characters. Like
Yeah,
but-
Cyborg.
No.
52. What's the 52 for? It's not 52 times Batman.
Yeah,
It
but
would
the
be
thing
if
with
they,
Batman
if they
is
thought
that
they could
it's
get away
not-
with
Yeah,
it.
you're right.
It's not all
Totally.
they have. It's not all they have. It's just they're trying to appeal to the lowest common denominator.
yeah, just put more Batman characters, and then who's the next guy after that? They're saying it's probably going to be Zod, which great, another Superman character. Can't remember
Who's
who that is.
basically like
He's in the
Superman.
new movie. It'll
Yeah.
almost certainly be Zod.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Well, you
just
know,
like
Like it's weird because they have characters like Killer Frost, which no one really,
Really-
cares about, but they
Yeah.
can't put like real fan favorites like I don't know Zatanna for example.
Zatanna, or I'd really like Parasite or Metallo in there. instead of
Exactly.
Zod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Like there's simply a ton of characters that would fit better.
like I think
Like
you were saying
Lobo
last
was
week,
like,
Big
Lobo
Bang
was
Boom
kind of
needs to
the
be-
crowd pleaser here.
Big Bang Boom, but that's Marvel.
Oh shit, you're right. I don't know. I only know good comic book characters, so I don't know anything about DC. Yeah, that's
But
right.
like
But,
some of the other lanterns would be cool. I can't remember their names off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, like imagine like some random Pink Lantern. Like that'd be awesome. Like there's
But
some
Nick's-
characters no one's ever heard
To,
of.
to Nix's point about like bringing up Marvel versus Capcom, at least in that game, the way the characters play in Marvel vs. Capcom is like so different than the way they play in Street
Yeah.
Fighter that like it wouldn't even be the same. Also, I bet there are a lot of fighting game community fans who would totally be down to see more Street Fighter characters in Marvel vs. Capcom because they care about that kind of shit.
Yeah, but the point is, like, so
yeah,
many
but,
Capcom franchises. Why would you pick from the one that already has 5 in there, just
But-
like Batman, right?
But my major problem with all this though is that you're paying for the characters at this point. If I'm going to buy a character, I want it to be so far removed from everything else in the game. I don't want the next Batman character who probably plays a little
Yeah.
bit like Nightwing mixed with Batman. I want to play someone who's completely freaking crazy, who just
Mhm.
does something a lot differently. Like how Lobo looks. Lobo actually looks like an interesting character, and I'll probably end up buying him. But Batgirl and Zod, I know what they're going to
The
be
problem
like.
is like Lobo. Okay, I can get because
Zod
it's,
would be kind of cool.
like, Lobo is a kind of a lesser crowd pleaser. Like people were excited to see Lobo, but no one really cares about Batgirl. It's just I don't see why would they include her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Considering like
Well, okay, so give me some
Zatanna.
interesting. Yeah, I know Zatanna's a great example, but other than Zatanna, like who would you? Like I don't know anything about DC. I'd love to make suggestions, but like I was like, yeah, Doctor Strange. Oh shit, that's also Marvel.
Dr. Fate would be cool.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Parasite, Captain Cold.
Captain Cold.
Captain
well, they
Cold
already
would be
did
funny,
Super
but
Bowl.
they already did Ice. So I don't know why 2 Ice characters in one game, but hey.
But yeah, Metallo, the Parasite,
Brainiac, the Martian Manhunter.
Brainiac, Manhunter.
Oh yeah, John Johns. I love John Johns. Get him in
you
there.
see-
Why is he not in there?
I think Brainiac would be a really cool character.
Yeah, he
that,
would.
that would
If they
be an
put
interesting
John Johns
character.
and Brainiac in there, I'd buy that game.
they put
Black
freaking
Canary.
Doomsday.
Is Black Panther's DC, right? Oh no, sorry, not Black Panther.
No. That's Marvel.
Who's the Black Panther chick? Black Arrow? Black something? There's all
Black Canary.
Black Canary, yeah. I like her. Put her in there.
Well, they actually have a picture.
I know I
of her
can't remember her
model.
names. I mean, I don't like her that much, but like, you know.
You guys could have been making all this shit up for all these names for the past 5 minutes, and I would be none the wiser. Like,
Well, at least we're not talking about D&D, right? Put Driscoll
Yeah.
in there.
It's definitely
Dude, your lack of
improved
appreciation
over
for
that.
comic books makes me disgusted and sad.
Well,
Yeah, I
it's
don't know
not
what to
missing
say.
anything on DC side anyway.
Like,
You know, DC at this point is the only cool because Marvel fucking sucks since, I don't know, since 5 years.
Dark Reign kind of like has been pretty shitty. I don't know.
Whatever.
Marvel now
Books, man.
it has been pretty good. Thor: God of Thunder, I'm really enjoying. Indestructible Hulk is pretty good. I didn't really like the new Avengers, but
I read some
Yeah.
Ultimate Iron Man. I thought it was.
What is happening with the X-Men and with Spider-Man is just fucking disgrace.
oh,
Isn't
fucking
Spider-Man a
Spider-Man
member of the
pissed me off.
Fantastic Four now?
No, well that was cool when that happened.
Yeah, I thought,
But no, Doctor Octopus has taken control of Peter Parker's mind right now, and
okay,
Dr.
that's
Octopus'
really dumb.
body is
Sounds
dead.
like kind of
It is.
comic book
It's
good dumb.
fucking stupid. It's horrible.
No, it's horrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
It sounds
It's like Spider-Man getting his marriage aborted once again.
So how about Pink Kryptonite? You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
that's the name of my new pop punk band.
Pink Kryptonite.
Right? Yeah, I know.
But there's just to get back on point. There's so many better characters that I could pick. That'd be a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
And then Batgirl, Zod, and I think the last one's Scorpion.
Yeah, apparently Scorpion.
The worst part is I like Raven a lot, but like she looks like such shit in that game.
No, Raven is so fucking annoying in that game.
Does she have a proper costume with any of her alternates, or is it just that shitty costume?
You got that one, and then you got one where she's more demon-y looking. I haven't unlocked her other costume.
Is there one with
I don't know.
like the real like bigger hood with the shadowed eyes? Because if that's in there, maybe I'd think about getting it. We're at 113 by the way.
I don't really like fighting games, but I really like it. So
All right, let's move on to news.
I might pick it up when it's on sale. I don't usually buy
Yeah.
fighting games, but hey, yeah, it sounds
Let's
good.
go on to news. And
Like,
I would like to
you
get
guys are
something.
not terrible at games, so maybe you guys would be like level. Then I can play against Coffee though, because he's like actually good.
don't play against Coffee.
He sounds too good for me. I'm really bad at fighting
Yeah.
games.
All right, news.
News.
You know what? I'm going to. I'm going to.
Start with this.
No, I'm going to get out of the way something that pains me very much, which is some personal shit with Polish translations of English movie titles.
Tell me, how are you going to translate the title of Mother 3 really badly into Polish when you do it?
You would have to, I don't know.
Call it like female parental figure 3.
Yeah, something like this. Rodzicielka 3, I don't know.
Give us some examples, Ghost, because I want to hear this. I totally
Yeah.
like hearing
Okay.
about like poorly translated culture.
There's that movie Pain and Gain, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
A right joke that probably only works in English.
You know what? No, because you can kind of you won't really have that rhyme in
Yeah.
Polish, but you can have like I don't know, ból i zysk or something like that, and
Is there a
it still
similar
works.
expression though that works? Like, because I know it's based on no pain, no gain, right? So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if like
We have something
there's-
similar like this.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
it's doable. The Polish title is Sztanga I cash. Cash as in money is the same pronunciation, it's written in the same way as in English, cash.
Mhm.
And Sztanga means basically dumbbell, which is a weight which you lift.
I see
Dumbbell
what they're-
cash?
what they're going for.
Like, Sztanga I cash, yeah. And it took me, like, who the fuck came up with this? And then I realized that they are trying to reference the Russell Stallone flick Tango and Cash.
Okay, that's awesome.
That's pretty good.
I'm moving to Poland and learning the
Yeah,
language.
that's pretty awesome.
I'm going. Grandfather Stanislas, I'm coming home to the home country.
It's just.
Dumbbell cash.
Wow.
And the second thing,
Amazing.
and the second title that bugged me, it's Star Trek Into Darkness.
Okay.
And the problem here is, like, Star Trek Into Darkness, actually, I really like the title because it's a cool word game. But the problem here is
I
that,
didn't get that the first time. Wow, I'm an idiot. Sorry. Sorry to interrupt there with my stupidity. I'm like, like Trek into Darkness, Anyway.
yeah. But the problem is, in Poland, we never translated Star Trek into anything.
Oh.
Like, which is weird because we did it with Star Wars. And the Polish title of Star Trek Into Darkness is basically, in Polish it is W ciemność Star Trek, which is basically Into Darkness Star Trek. They fucking switched the subtitle with the title. And the worst part, there's no dot, there's no anything. It doesn't make any grammatical nor thematical sense.
Well, I mean, like if there was a comma, It makes sense, right?
Nothing. Not a
Like,
colon,
no,
comma, nothing.
Comma,
Trek?
Star Trek.
Well, if you had a comma, you'd be saying "Into Darkness, Star Trek." Like you'd be talking to Star Trek.
Yeah. Or maybe like
You're
Into
going for
Darkness.
like
A Star
or
Trek.
like
Oh, put
a Captain, like a Captain Kirk, William Shatner kind of into darkness,
In
Star Trek
Darkness.
kind of thing.
Star Trek. I don't know.
Dark.
Bad.
That's really funny, Ghost.
That's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
It's just, and it's like this all the time. Like
What are some great hits of poor Polish translation?
the
this
King's
top-
Speech.
Okay, what's that?
The King's Speech is not Mowa Króla, which actually translates literally, and it preserves the duality of the title.
Yeah.
It's Jak zostać królem, which is how to become a king.
Oh wow, that's really bad.
So do you think there were people in Poland who came to that film with like notes to like thinking it was like
I hope so.
advisory? Well, they
Um,
wouldn't be the brightest buttons anyway, because Poland doesn't even have a king. But there you go.
What?
Wait, Poland has a king?
Yeah,
No,
Ghost
no,
is
it
king.
doesn't. But what? I don't know what you got. I think what the fuck did you say just now? What relevance has the fact of Poland having or not having a king to
Well, the idea
whatever
is
we're
they
talking
wouldn't
about?
become the king of Poland if they couldn't become the king of Poland, so there wouldn't be any onus to go learn how to be a king. You know what I mean? You ever heard that song?
Really?
Once I was the king of
I don't think that that's how
Yeah.
they decide who is the next king. I don't think they have like tryouts
Yeah.
to see who gets good.
You know, you put in an application.
Fucked if they had tryouts for who was the king, right?
Can I just say that I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now? Like I can feel Ghost's eyes just like burning through me. That whole exchange.
It's
like,
intense, isn't it?
it's
Yeah.
rocked me to my core. Like
Hey, I'm
don't
Mr.
know.
Passive Aggressive for a reason.
that wasn't passive aggressive, mate. That was
That's
just
No
anger.
passivity.
yeah.
Also, is that Benjamin Franklin? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
Benjamin
that's-
Franklin.
So why?
That's totally.
So my next question, follow up, is why is that? This is totally not relevant to people who are listening, but like,
No one will know.
let me explain this. So Ghost on Skype has a picture of Benjamin Franklin as his picture, which is
Are you suggesting that
better than the-
Benjamin Franklin? Are you suggesting that Benjamin Franklin is not a ghost?
no. I'm suggesting that Ghost is not
Ghosts
Benjamin
don't
Franklin.
discover electricity.
Because I like Benjamin Franklin.
That's it.
Did you guys know that 2/3 of all $100 bills are located outside of the United States?
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Are they all?
Yeah,
are they all
All-
They are
take a guess.
comprising my mattress.
I'm gonna take a wild guess here.
On them too, or something. Isn't that one of those stats? Like all of dollar bills have trace amounts of cocaine on them.
I'm gonna take a guess
Okay.
at the 100 bills thing and say
It's
Mexico.
like when I'm doing drugs, I put my drugs all over the money, right? Like,
Yeah, I
No,
don't know.
you roll the dollar into like a little straw and you stick it in your nose and you snort it.
oh yeah, that makes sense. I don't know how to do drugs, so don't look at me.
All right, let's
It's
move
okay,
on.
I can
From,
teach you sometime.
Made a very
let's move on from drugs and shitty
lady.
Polish translations, and let's
Ghost-
move on to the big
Ghost,
thing.
I have good news. I have the perfect thing to take us off this subject with, and it's
Fuck
news
drugs,
as well.
smoke bitches.
Yes.
Crusader Kings 2: The Old Gods has a release date. It's coming out May the 28th. You play as Vikings. Move on.
Great.
So
Moving on from that
I have a
too.
question about that. So, are there any contingency plans for the countries of the world knowing that on May 28th not a single person will go into work because they'll be too busy?
I have no idea. I can't say. I'm a little bit worried about that, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
like the world's just going to shut down for one day, basically, right? Like,
Oh
Yeah.
Well, like you just got to think, like, how does Japan treat it when Dragon Quest comes out?
well, they had to reschedule the Dragon Quest release date so it wouldn't come out on weekdays anymore. And yes, I'm dead.
Oh.
Yes. Like,
Oh,
there we
dear.
go.
guys, I have bad news. May 28th is a Tuesday.
Oh,
so no podcast, I guess, for Giant Bomb. Yeah, that sucks.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're too busy.
You guys are
Sucks.
assholes. This is news.
No, I legitimately want to
All right.
the King, so I'm kind of like,
Hey, Nyx, Red and Black,
They are.
Akbar, and
Yeah.
Atlas.
Yeah.
What would you say if I told you that the next Xbox will have a stupid projector?
Oh
Yeah,
God.
I tell you, my room's already not set up for Kinect, and it's doubly not set
Yeah.
up for Project.
Yeah.
Because
I
the
don't
next
know-
big thing about the Xbox, which it will try to one up the PS4, is a fucking projector.
Well, you know,
Is that-
Basically, isn't really a
No, no,
projector.
Actually, they said that it won't be for the next Xbox. It won't be ready by then. So it's the Xbox after this
the
Xbox.
So it's going to be the new Kinect.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
their stopgap between generation.
Their way to
Solution.
prolong that generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I know.
10-year generation cycle, right?
I know this is a very dangerous approach to take, especially since we haven't actually had the announcement of what's coming from Microsoft yet. But I am increasingly feeling like there is nobody left at Microsoft with one iota of common sense.
That's not that dangerous statement. It's basically the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Guys,
Just-
please, next generation consoles. We don't know.
I mean,
it's not that I'm not excited for next generation consoles. I just think that
The PS4.
the PS4 was such a it wasn't perfect, and they did some pie in the sky stuff that I doubt a console was going to be able to do day one.
Yeah, but you don't feel embarrassed by it.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
And they fucking
I-
mentioned it. They fucking told us it exists, and like Microsoft is so astoundingly close-lipped about it. Like you can't even mention that it's on the next Xbox. You're like,
the only-
some next generation consoles. It's like, well, it's not the Wii U, you fucking asshole.
It's crazy to me that these roles have switched. Like in the last generation, like Microsoft were hungry, they were ambitious, like they were going for it, and Sony was
they
just
were playing from behind too.
They were,
They were
and
in the
yeah.
lead.
and Sony was from this arrogant position. Well, which in some ways they earned, because PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, those were some fucking video game consoles.
Exactly.
Like PlayStation 2 is basically the greatest console ever at this point.
It's like my favorite.
Maybe contested by the SNS.
It seems like that's the debate. Certainly, that it has entered that hallowed SNES territory.
I think this is more a case of Microsoft is not. What they want is they want their version of the iPad, right? They want something that will appeal to everybody, that's like a no-brainer purchase, that everybody wants, something that's like sexy, that's coveted, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
You don't
They
say I want to buy a
know-
tablet. You say I want to buy an iPad. They don't want to say I want to buy a video game console. They want to say I want to buy an Xbox because that's
Right,
Yeah.
but I don't think they quite know exactly what that entails, like what they're going to have to make that be for them.
Yeah. Well,
Like the fact that we're pretty much sure that it's going to be always online, right? I mean, we've pretty much
pretty.
all but confirmed that.
I am taking that.
I don't know because they haven't said anything, but yeah, it sure sounds like it.
I'm taking
To
that
me,
as a given.
that feels like, that feels almost like more like they are catering towards kind of the hardcore players. You know what I mean? Like they're catering to people who like Steam, and they're catering to people who are okay with that, as opposed to something like, technically an iPad is always online all the time, but you don't think of it that way.
Always online
You know what I mean?
is almost like irrelevant. It's like, does it play the fucking games? Like, I'm not going to go on the plane with my Xbox. I'm not going to go play Diablo 3 on a plane either.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand that some people want to play their games offline and what, it's totally fine. But guess what? There are like hundreds of thousands of games you can play offline forever, and you probably never even play the same game twice. But like, I would prefer that they like upgrade my internet in my country to being like acceptably good instead of complete shit. I live in
I just don't see.
so
I just don't see the appeal. There's no way they can sell always online to me that will seem.
Yeah.
This is
it's
cool.
never
This is what we're
necessary.
gonna
It's just
do.
Like what does that add to it? Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I'm
Like,
I'm
we
with
can play
Ghost.
more SimCity style games? That sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
All the servers go down every single time a game launches, right? Like, what the fuck? Oh.
But for good reason, to a certain extent. Like we saw what happened with SimCity, and to be honest, the way I look at it is, this is one thing that they need to do on whatever it is, May 21st or whenever they're announcing the console. They need to explain.
17th.
Yeah. Okay. All right. They need to explain how all these ideas benefit the user, as opposed to how all this stuff
Not the
benefits
publisher.
how it benefits Microsoft and its advertisers and whatever deal with whoever they are going to get into to have this $60 on contract video game console, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah, you're totally right about that, like 100%.
They need
really
to do something that they need to basically nail it, because
Yeah.
they have little time. Because
It's gonna
if
be
they
rough.
fuck-
Like if they do anything other than perfect, they're gonna get shredded because they're already being shredded, and there's nothing.
Yeah.
They're going to get shredded
Yeah.
no matter
Yeah.
what they do.
Yeah,
People
but
want
you
to
know
hate
what?
Microsoft.
They saved it
I don't
for
think
the-
that they care about that.
they fucked up because they didn't save the announcement for the E3.
Yeah. I mean,
If they
there's
saved it for the
probably-
E3, even if that console went bad, like the announcement, all people would be talking about would be the fact that Microsoft unveiled a new Xbox during E3.
Well, what if
Like-
they do? What if they do like an Apple, or maybe a better example would be, what if they do like a Saturn, where like they announce it on the 21st and they're like, and it'll be in stores tomorrow.
That would be
I
awesome.
think if the-
Respect.
That'd be
Buy
ridiculous.
one,
I don't think that could happen.
I think if the best you can hope for in life is to emulate the Saturn, then you're not.
Yeah, you got
very
to
good.
there.
I mean, I realized when I said that, like what I was maybe implying there, but like Apple
Wait, hold
doesn't have
on,
a problem
hold on,
doing
hold
that.
on,
Like
hold
they
on.
announced.
Red and Black, you're like getting really like distorted and robot-y right now.
Oh,
You're
so we're-
going really spider on us.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything different. How's this?
Okay, sounds.
Should I auto-tune him for this part of the podcast?
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
Hey, you're fine
Is
now.
it
Yeah,
better?
you sound fine.
Yeah, it's fine, dude.
Well, what I was saying was like I realized that like comparing it to the Saturn, like what's that implying? But
No,
like Apple doesn't have any problem doing that.
yeah.
Like when they announce a new like their MacBook Air or whatever, and it'll be in stores tomorrow.
Well, it seems like
Yes,
Apple's
but-
kind of fallen
but
out of
Apple doesn't work in a
well, but I guess it's not really relevant.
Apple doesn't work in an environment where
Mhm.
like well, E3 is a big thing, etc.
And they don't have to
Apple-
publishers,
Apple-
right? They don't have 20,000 people making games for their thing that they need to all know the information about it before it comes out, right?
Exactly.
Apple is
They have
able
a lot of people making games for the App Store, dude.
Oh, I know, but when you make a game for the App Store, you don't make it for the specific iPad that's coming out, right?
yeah, and it's on everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
also the situation that they're in is that Apple is at this godlike level in tech where they don't need an E3 because people will fucking come to them, and they don't.
Yeah.
And they don't. If they want to hold a press conference, then the whole of the tech press will turn out. And it's the same reason why they don't have to like advertise during the Super Bowl, whatever, just because they
Yeah.
don't fucking need to. Like when the Lombardi Trophy is being walked towards the stage and all the players are there taking photos of it with their iPhone, that's Apple's advert.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I guarantee you, all of the tech industry is going to be at this Microsoft event.
I don't know about all of the tech industry because I don't
No,
think that
I'd say most of the tech industry.
I
will
don't
have
think that
Dude, but the
Microsoft-
problem is Apple sells its products based on style and philosophy.
Yeah.
Microsoft doesn't have that. If Microsoft fails to if Microsoft fails on the hardware in any way, people
Yeah.
are just gonna go jump ship to something else. Like they're gonna return
Yeah.
to PCs, they're gonna go to PS4.
Yeah.
They're not going to have that advantage of I get an Xbox. It's sexy and it's
Yeah,
they
it-
just don't have.
I
it.
don't think they're going to go to PC. They might shift back to PS4, but I don't think
I-
they're going to go to PC.
I think they're done. Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, like say what you will about sort of annual versions of this hardware and
Mhm.
sort of the colder personality of Steve Jobs, under Steve Jobs especially, Apple had a fucking identity, and I
Yeah.
have no fucking idea what identity Microsoft are going for.
Well,
at this
other than
point.
the
They play-
anti-consumer, like, huge corporation kind of one
Exactly.
contesting
Yeah.
for which one wants to be worse, right? But
Like
And I-
Apple, let's not be mistaken. Apple are a bunch of assholes, but
Yeah.
they managed
Oh,
to
yeah,
make a
absolutely.
very hip, very
and
cool
and there's
image.
a reason why we all own iPhones or iPods or iPads. Like
I don't
like,
use Apple products
I
at
don't.
all because
Yeah,
of the-
I don't use them
just-
either.
that's
Okay,
fine.
well,
I think they're
shouldn't
fine.
say
but,
that.
oh yeah, but
There's a
everyone
reason-
does. It's not maybe just not I guess power users, quote unquote. But oh yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
you
sure.
can walk down the street.
That-
Like I have a Nexus
Yeah.
phone, right? And like I don't see anyone else with a Nexus, but I see a shit ton of iPhones. So
I've actually heard a lot of people saying that you do see a lot of.
I mean in Toronto
I-
you see a few more than other places, but
Well, Android is, I mean, worldwide, Android is slowly outselling
oh yeah,
Apple
yeah,
stuff.
I know.
Yeah,
Just-
but what does that
yeah.
even mean? That's comparing one phone to 100.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What does? Yeah.
Well, maybe that's
I-
the
I
thing.
just
Maybe it's the
iOS.
platform is stronger than having the thing, right? But who knows? I'm not a phone analyst, so I couldn't tell you. I can tell you that I like
So
Android a hell of a lot better than iPhone, though.
So we're obviously all really excited about the prospect of a projector involved in Microsoft.
Yeah, so
No.
shit.
It's
So I'll
kind
explain it for I guess people who don't know what Illuma Room is. God, all you need to do is hear the name to know it's stupid.
Oh God, is that what they're calling it?
Of course
Yeah,
it
the
is.
Illuma
Of
Room.
course it is. The
Oh.
Illuma Room.
What else
fucking
would they call it?
Or are they gonna call it something like not embarrassing? Like, whatever.
The projector? Like, who would call it that or anything?
So
They should just call it. They should just call it Project Natal. That's just-
nice.
Game Illumi Room, or Illumi Game Room.
I'm so sad right now. That's made my day wasn't. Oh, whatever. Ugh.
So have you ever been playing Call of Duty and wished that you could
No.
see your
Let me stop you,
opponent off
stop
the...
you right there. No.
Well, let's say you were playing Call of Duty. If you could
Okay.
see your opponent off the edge of your TV screen, wouldn't that be better?
No.
Assuming you have only a TV and your
Say if
console on your wall.
room set up perfectly so that you could set a projector in the back of the room and project onto the TV and around it. Okay, so what if you could order pizza, but instead of the pizza being on your TV screen, it was projected all across your entire wall, and it had context-sensitive floppiness over the different shelves in your room. So like a slice of pizza would be like hanging off your bookshelf. Incredible, right? Like that's what Microsoft's trying to sell you. That's how it's going to beat the PS4.
Illuminated Xbox pizza. You know, you just don't order it, but you also get it projected across everything.
I think all of this stuff, like if they come up with a decent like game or decent use case for it, we would all turn around on it.
But all
No. The
tech
living room looks horrible because it's just a shitty projector projecting against like vases or bookcases or any shelf or anything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't like adjust to that, so it's
Well,
just a flat image being
Yeah.
projected onto that. So anything with
Who
like
lives in
that's
this
popping
IKEA
out.
living room, right? Like I don't have a fucking IKEA living room.
Yeah.
I have a desk
let's-
on it. Like,
It's gonna look horrible because images that are moving will start like just shift in plane, like forward
Yeah.
and look really awkward. and
Let's
stilted.
let's predict the future by looking at the past. Like, and some people will make the argument that there were like awesome games for the Kinect because some people will point to like the Dance Central guys like
okay.
trust
see that.
trust harmonics
It's
trust
a fun
harmonics to go into a field where everyone else is floundering.
Wrecking Crew guys, come on.
Yeah.
The problem is that is literally the only way I could see the aluminum room work.
Racketeer, my bad. I didn't even know the fucking name of the game.
Dave
Sorry.
Lang is going to cut you.
Whatever, man. Dave Lang's working on Dive Kick. He's like a fucking saint. Well, not
Guys,
but you know what I mean.
I would say let's skip all the other bullshit and just wrap this up with some GTA 5 talk.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
If you like Banjo Kazooie and Tooie, you should go buy those soundtracks from Grant Carpo because they're awesome.
Yeah.
And so is Grant Carpo.
So, Juggalos.
You mean
Juggalos confirmed.
You mean Gigalomaniacs?
I want to play the Juggalo mission. That is going to be all that. As soon as I get that game, I'm going to play directly through until I get to the Juggalo mission.
Well,
you're
That
going
is
to
be
die
the highlight of
satisfied.
that game.
All right,
That's a
so
question.
let's
Probably.
before we get off that, like, so 3 trailers came out for like kind of like exploring 3 characters, and what are the names again? Michael, Trevor, and
Michael,
Franklin.
Trevor, and Franklin.
Could you be more generic?
Yeah.
Why not like
Dude,
not like
yeah.
Dude, they are dude from America. How are they supposed to be called?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don Yankee Face.
Yeah, I think-
Wolfgang Krauser.
Yeah, you got it. So
That's an
that's
awesome name.
good.
Previous
That's a
protagonists
good name for a kid coming from
were
the hood.
Claude, Tommy, and
Wouldn't it
CJ.
be,
So,
though?
you know.
America
Yeah, but-
Jones.
Oh yeah. Fuck you.
America Jones.
Oh,
Oh god. I used to know a guy named
Well,
AJ, and now I forever will wonder if his name was really America Jones.
I
Yeah,
have
well-
to wonder at this point if I'm the last person left on the internet who hasn't watched those trailers.
I
Should.
haven't seen him either, to be fair. So there you go. You're not alone.
I'm not. I don't watch game trailers.
Yeah, neither do I.
Not the website. I don't watch video game trailers. I mean,
I
one
watch
thing
some
clear.
videos on game trailers, but I do not watch game trailers on game trailers.
No, I just don't. I don't see what the point of game trailers is. Like, I would much
Well-
rather have like the curated, like somebody talking me through the experience than hey,
They're not
here's
talking you through the experience. They're simply telling you what the characters will be in some nutshell.
Yeah,
It's not
And the
the
oth-
way they spoil everything. They're really allowing you to get a feel for them and for
Yeah,
what
well,
the
the
game
prob-
is.
the problem with that is that I really don't know how to feel about this game because I have gone through this roller coaster ride of emotions with Rockstar over the past 5 years because I thought GTA 4 was fucking boring. I thought the first 8 to 10 hours or whatever I played of that game, zero investment with the characters, zero investment with the action. It just did absolutely nothing for me. And compare that to Red Dead Redemption, which I thought was a complete and utter triumph. And
Yeah.
even LA Noire, which is a completely different kind of game, but still really, really dug what it was going for. And what it was.
That wasn't really made by them anyway, so it's kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
and also, LA Noire sucks. So
No, LA Noire is a pretty good game. The Rockstar trailers, at least, they always go to the trouble of making really good music. Like they have great
Yeah.
music for
Yeah.
trailers.
If it makes sense for Rockstar above any other video game makers to do trailers because their games are so cinematic anyway that they kind of lend themselves to that.
But
And I'll
it's a
definitely-
trailer, right?
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with Rockstar being really smart about their music. Like that was one of the best things about LA Noire was just a killer soundtrack.
I really liked LA Noire. The other thing about Rockstar is they're one of the only companies that when they make games, like they get a conversation going. Like people talk about their games.
Yeah.
People care about the release dates for games beyond just like, the classic bro audience, the people who they don't know much about games, but they know when Madden comes out, they know when Call of Duty comes out, and they'll know when the next Grand Theft Auto comes out.
Yeah, what I like about Rockstar the most is they really care about the little stuff that like no one notices. Like, for example, Max Payne 3, how Max lands on the ground when you jump over, like stuff people you won't notice, etc. But there.
I still need to play Max Payne 3.
It's pretty good.
Is it worth playing? All right, I'll check it out.
It's my
did play
favorite.
the first two.
It's my second favorite game of last year. So
I like Max Payne 1 and 2 a lot, but it seemed like
I
3
think
was
that game
not
does
really...
it justice.
All right, all right.
I think 3 is on par with 1 and 2.
All right, I'll check
Okay,
it out.
here's
But then some people think it isn't. Just putting that out there.
Oh, I know. I've heard
some
all
people-
this shit about it, but I trust Ghost opinion more than some random dude on the internet.
Some people are
Okay.
idiots, you know.
Some
Yeah.
people have other opinions. What the fuck are they doing?
I'm afraid it's not out on the internet.
Ghost is absolutely wrong about LA Noire, though.
No.
Yeah, totally.
LA
Well,
is pretty good. Yeah.
LA Noire was
is a good game.
fantastic.
No.
How would you compare
Yes.
LA Noire to Dragon Age 2?
I finished LA Noire. I didn't finish Dragon Age 2.
I didn't want to play either of them.
Shame on you.
I know, I should play LA Noire.
No.
You should.
I played half
should
Dragon
finish-
Age 2.
If you want to play a guided experience where none of the puzzles are hard and nothing you do matters, and where the plot goes to absolute dog shit halfway through, go ahead.
Sounds exactly like Dragon Age 2 to me.
No.
I'm not going to defend the ending of LA Noire. I'm just going to say that I thought that a lot of the story beats were really effective. I thought the whole homicide desk thing was really well done.
Well,
I
the whole
thought that there was,
That should have just been the game. I don't think there should have been anything.
Exactly.
past that.
Yeah.
I
Because
agree.
the
but I-
homicide desk is the only thing I actually liked about LA Noire.
Yeah. Homicide Desk was really cool. It was really well done.
See, that was my least favorite one. My least favorite desk, that is. I thought that from a story perspective, the ending was actually really good, and I liked the whole the way the story wrapped up and all the insurance fraud and all that kind of stuff.
I just didn't like the build up with Cole, with all the stuff about Cole, and I don't know. I think that
He's not
game
a
was pretty much
Oh, yeah,
just a gimmick
that-
for the shitty technology.
Yeah.
I thought the technology.
I thought it looked pretty cool.
No,
no, the
the
technology is amazing.
the technology is a gimmick.
Well, the thing about it is that they only ever used that, trying to read people's emotions. They only ever used it in this kind of one-on-one adversarial
Exactly.
Like tech,
interrogation kind of way.
tech demo room,
If
right?
you have,
Uh,
if you
yeah.
No,
have
not
a-
even that. How cool would it have been if you were undercover in a mafia room or whatever,
My
and you're
problem with the technology is that it's basically a movie of someone's face plastered into a 3D model. You can see that whenever you're in a scene with two characters, you never have two characters talking at the same time because you
Yeah.
just can't do it.
I noticed
The
that,
second
I don't think
problem
they were
with it
fun
is-
quick, but it looks
the
so
fact that
natural, right?
The animations of the rest of the character are really stiff. And
Yeah,
just
there's-
makes
there's-
for a really
I
shitty
mean-
feeling.
I will give you that in the game, but I think in context, in other games, if they ever got the chance to work on it more, they can actually expand on it. It could be something really, really interesting and
Yeah,
change the way game
there is-
animation works.
There is
I
to a
don't know, I
certain
think-
extent.
I
There is
thought
to a certain
that
extent a degree to which I'm willing to give LA Noire something of a pass on that stuff, just because it was trying something new, and I respect that.
I don't know,
also-
man. I just think that hand-tailored, handcrafted animation, like in The Last of Us or Max Payne 3, just looks a lot better.
If
Oh,
nothing
I
else,
agree with you. Still,
if nothing else, it gave us the outtake reel, which is one of the greatest things ever.
that was pretty good.
Watching him sneeze was amazing. Also
it-
GTA 5.
Yeah, this brings us back to GTA 5.
Amazing sneeze technology.
But for real,
for
you should
GTA
all go
5.
play LA Noire. It's amazing.
LA Noire is fantastic. LA Noire gets an endorsement from.
I hope that
4K.
GTA 5, on top of being a good story and stuff, is actually a good game to play.
It
I
looks
heard
like
that
it
bit.
is.
That's kind of
So
my
it's-
yeah.
Well, it's also it's demonstrably different in that it's not basically just a third-person shooter the way that like all of those other games have been. At least there's an element of like tactical planning. At least they allege there's an element of like tactical planning and puzzle solving to it. And you can play different missions different ways, which you can't usually do in a Grand Theft Auto game.
So I didn't fully watch this, but I do. So in regard to the heist stuff, where you have all three guys, I know you can switch between the guys in real time or whatever, but like I think it would be really interesting if you had almost like a Rainbow Six style, like I want this guy to go in and do this guy to go in and do this, and then all go in this door and do this, and all have it at the same time. Is that how it works, or am I just like?
No, but
I don't think they're far enough along to show that whether or not it works that way.
Well, what I know is every character has a purpose, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Like
As every man in the world.
So you have the healer, the tank, and the DPS, right?
Yeah.
Well, like in the context of a heist.
I know. I'm
think,
just shit on.
Fucker. The professional.
My Michael will be a wizard.
Yeah, Michael is the professional, so he's the guy that actually has done this. He's probably your like lead guy in the heist. I think which one's the name? What's the name of the kid from the hood?
Franklin.
Franklin's the driver.
CJ Part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
Trevor,
he's the guy
Trevor's the meth addict, or
Trevor,
Listen,
I
is
think
the hillbilly.
the wild card pilot.
I think Trevor is that's the character I'm most interested in seeing, because all of the characters in the Grand Theft Auto games, they don't want to do what they're doing. Like for one reason or another, they're not either. It's like the guy from Vice City was like he feels like he should be beyond all this.
Not really.
The guy
said he is a fucking psychopath.
He's a psychopath, but he's trying to be like the Don. He's not trying to be like the hired hitman kind of killer. He's trying to be like a big timer guy. He's not this like getting his hands dirty kind of guy.
You're totally right. The whole dichotomy between that was definitely one of the most grating parts of GTA 4's story. Like that was just.
And Trevor seems like he totally loves being this like slimy, dirty.
Yeah. Like it's like Trevor seems like they're directly responding to these people who felt that there's a narrative dissonance between,
which is a good idea. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of Michael. I like the idea of the guy who actually got like out. He's out, and he's like, actually, I really want to go back in. Like he finds life outside of it boring. He's the actual opposite of every other GTA character. As opposed to everyone trying to get out, he wants to get in further. Like the
Tony Soprano character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like suburban life sucks. It's boring to him. He wants to
actually like all of them. Like Franklin also seems appealing because he seems to be this guy who is still a gangbanger, but he kind of wants to go fry bigger fishes and just stand around a corner and sell dope or smoke or something. Like there's some cool scenes in the trailer where it seems that he still has that mentality of a thug, but he just wants to go bigger.
Of a what?
Of a thug.
Okay, that's not what you said. But all right.
Of a thug.
I just had the image of a tugboat rolling down.
I heard that too. I'm glad I wasn't.
This game has Transformers.
I'm sorry, Ghost. Second.
I'd play a Transformers GTA.
Same here. You try to jack a car, it just turns into a robot.
I would play anything GTA
Jack,
GTA,
tug,
GTA.
jerk.
I would play anything GTA that. Cut that part.
Yeah, no problem. I will.
Oh, my brain.
We're at like an hour 50, by the way. So you might want to,
We're gonna
wrap
wrap
it
this up. So
I'm
talk more about GTA, and we're gonna get this bitch home.
I don't have anything else to say about GTA. I'll probably play it. I hope it's better than 4 gameplay wise.
Wait.
Yeah.
There's something interesting that I want to bring up. This guy on the forum posted like a link to this, and I think it was the comments on that one video that they were talking about the trailers when they saw the gameplay. Rockstar said you get to play as the protagonist and the antagonist in that game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So at some point, one of the 3 characters are going to be against the other 2, or 2 will be against 1 or something like that.
Yeah,
considering the fact that
that's kind of the same thing, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
Maybe they'll all be against each other. That'd be interesting. So I think
they're all against the Juggalos. That's clearly what they mean by that.
So did anyone Indigo Prophecy / Fahrenheit?
You know what? I would think this could be a good idea to handle multiple endings, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I thought about, Nix? I thought about the finale of Monaco.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like this is exactly the scenario I'm thinking of.
I think it'd be cool if they used a similar storytelling mechanic. I won't say what that story. Well, I guess whatever. It's not a spoiler. So Monaco has different stories told by the different characters, and the
It's basically a
interface is
Rashomon
different.
style story.
Yeah, and so you have like the one story is one way, and then the same environments, but they're slightly different because the guys remembering it differently. Like that'd be kind of a cool idea for a game where you play as 3 guys. But I know they're not going to do that.
No, I mean there's gonna be one set ending.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. So back to Indigo Prophecy. Yeah, so other than the giant space ticks from nowhere, literally, it's a pretty good game. So you play as the antagonist and essentially you play as a protagonist and 2 people competing against the antagonist, and the stuff you do as against the protagonist, and the stuff you do as the protagonist actually affects your own play later when you have to like find
Play as the antagonist.
Yeah.
So
I have
one
I have not played a
thing. Yeah,
But
it's
then-
it's a decent game. Anyway, here's the cool thing.
Then in Indigo Prophecy, or Fahrenheit, whatever you call it, the David Cage quality of writing pops in, and
Oh yeah, no, it's bad. Don't worry. But
Yeah.
so it went for example, like here's a good example. Here's why the game is like cool. So you're at a crime scene and you have essentially murdered someone. This is like the first part of the game. It's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
And you have to
Yeah.
hide. You have to hide the evidence. If you do a really good job hiding the evidence, it's really hard later when you have to prove that guy murdered somebody and find evidence for it. So it's kind of a really interesting idea. And also, if you hide evidence in a certain place, you can go find it in that same place, etc. But I'd like to see that experimented with more. Kind of
yeah.
player playing
Yeah.
both sides of the thing and their own actions affecting them later. So you have to kind of think about what
Initially, people thought that Watch Dogs is going to do that.
that'd be cool. But
But no, Watch Dogs doesn't do that. Watch Dogs actually enables you to protect like the protagonist in somebody's game.
That last demo of Watch Dogs really soured me on that game.
It kind of seems like less amazing than
Yeah,
it
I wonder
was.
if I wonder if that first demo was a Killzone Motorstorm
Yeah,
level,
aliens
just
level
kinda seems-
concept.
it just
I think
really
the problem-
seems like it's a bit more elaborate Assassin's Creed.
yeah, I was gonna
I think
say.
the prob-
Oh,
I hope it's more than a modern day Assassin's Creed. But
I think part of the problem is that they got the opportunity to capitalize by having a sort of relatively unique and impressive demo at one of the most underwhelming E3s ever. Like
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
yeah.
it was dire, like what a lot of the other press conferences were showing. Like
I know.
just
Sony showed The Last of Us, so they won.
yeah.
Well, that was
Well-
about it. Like, that was the other big thing. Was like The Last of Us, and then Assassin's Creed 3 had boats in it. That was the other 2 big things I remember from that E3. That was
By
exciting.
the way,
The Far Cry
Everyone-
3 the Far Cry
disclaimer
3 demo was pretty good.
disclaimer from your friendly neighborhood podcast: watch out for The Last of Us spoilers, because they're apparently on the internet.
Oh, really?
so
I-
Dead.
I'm generally pretty lucky when it comes to avoiding spoilers. The one exception is Heavy Rain.
I would say if you're
Yeah.
extremely worried about spoilers for a game, you probably shouldn't just browse random gaming forums for a while.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, I know that's kind of like an impossible task. So personally, my solution is I don't give a shit about spoilers, but not everyone can do that, obviously. And
And to be honest, the Heavy
generally,
Rain
generally speaking, though, if a game's not out, people are pretty good about at least not putting it like putting this. They'll put the word spoiler in the headline, but they won't put
Yeah.
the actual.
Yeah, but then you have those dicks that would just put it in, like in a
for those
random
EVE Online players who name their stations after it.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
is
God, that was
amazing. It's
hilarious.
so fucking cool. I love that.
I generally don't care about spoilers too, but The Last of Us is kind of a special thing for me right now.
Yeah, it looks like a cool game. I hope it's good.
Like the last thing I was so excited about was probably Red Dead Redemption. Like,
So-
like
That
this,
turned out
this
nice.
really pumped up feeling that this is it. This is the next thing.
I'm trying to be very
Yeah.
guarded about this. Did you guys ever play I Am Alive?
No.
Yeah,
I
put
did.
Of it. I know.
You know, but the thing is, that game was in development hell for a long time,
Yeah, it was.
That's
That game
really-
was like a good
yeah.
idea.
and
Just-
and nothing about I Am
Seems
Alive
like a really interesting
pre-release looked
idea.
good, while everything
Yeah.
about The Last of Us pre-release looks really good.
I remember bits and pieces of Brad Shoemaker talking about his experience with I Am Alive. I remember
It's
him
shit.
hating
Did a
the
little bit
ending.
more.
I think it's. I don't think it's as terrible as everyone thought, but it was a disappointment. I was expecting
Yeah.
it to be a lot better. I'm trying to be guarded about The Last of Us
Yeah.
because, the whole deal is that the combat is very meaningful.
Mhm.
Like you don't just punch like
Yeah.
one punch does a whole lot
Yeah.
of damage, and like I think that's really possible to make that either really boring where you're not punching at all, or like frustrating in a really hard way, where
know
you
what?
just like get punched out of nowhere and you're dead.
I was
like-
really unsure about the combat in The Last of Us until I saw the demo where they showed fighting the like their version of zombies.
Yeah.
Oh god, there's
Because-
fucking zombies in it. God damn it.
No, they're
Yeah,
not
but
zombies.
they're not
They're not
zombies.
zombies.
As long
They're
as it's
actually
not fucking zombies. Also,
they're
the
not zombies.
Running Dead.
They're not zombies. They don't really work like zombies because they don't react to sight. They react to
Okay.
sound.
Still.
And actually, it's,
Yeah,
it's the demo they show of the fighting them is actually really awesome
Anyway.
because it really escalated when the dude pulled out a shotgun. It actually went to absolute shit because it's clear that these guys are much more powerful than you, and you don't have the resources to fight them.
I love the idea that like guns are treated like seriously and not just like, oh, everyone's spraying bullets nonstop. Like the fact that like if someone pulls out a gun, everyone is like, oh shit, right? Like it's kind of like in I'm Alive, they did a little bit of that. I think that
Yeah.
could be leveraged a lot to be more.
I feel like-
seriously.
But
I
the only
feel
problem
like
with
it's something that, video
no.
games need. I feel like we've got so sort of game culture has collapsed in on itself to a certain extent. Like where all the shouts and all the woos that happen at E3 press conferences over
yeah.
trailers of people getting that was in the Last of Us trailer.
You know
Like-
what? You know what I think video games need right now? Like seriously, what we should pay attention to right now? When the Last of Us trailer happened, and there was this scene where Joel is basically that scene, gameplay moment, where Joel is pointing a gun at a dude, and he clicks, and he has no ammo, and the guy reacts to that. That's the point where I think
That's cool. Yeah,
that's what I want in games right now.
yeah we should.
Yeah,
wrap it up.
I want
definitely-
this little shit to happen. I
definitely-
want Joel running up a wall and touching the wall with his hand, not to
Mm.
I
bounce
definitely
off it.
see a lot of potential and a lot of interesting glimpses from the little bits and pieces I've seen of The Last of Us. I don't have a connection to Naughty Dog. Like I haven't played any of the Uncharted games. I know I need to.
Oh,
but
really?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get.
I would play like 2 and maybe 3.
I don't
Yeah,
have I don't have an emotional connection to Naughty Dog 2. I'm just really excited what they're doing with that game.
Mm.
It looks
Yeah.
it looks awesome. It looks like a great way to introduce a new generation, basically.
Yeah,
Like
I'm-
end this one and introduce a new one. Like this is
I'm-
the shit we're gonna see in next year.
Mhm.
I hate
That's
to
the
say
thing. If
because
it's Naughty Dog, we're gonna get like at least 4 sequels. At least.
Yeah,
I'm
And
one
then
of
a
them
kart
will be a
racing
kart
game.
racer.
that would be
thanks,
uncarded,
thanks,
of
Zach.
course. That's what we need.
I hate to be one of these guys. I know I'm part
Last
of the.
of cards.
Last place of us.
God damn it, Akbar. I feel like I'm part of the problem because all I've got through my head now is, oh, well, maybe if Last of Us gets like a 90 on Metacritic or something. I'm
Oh
saying
god.
I'm
Maybe
saying
like
these
Oh.
words.
developers will get a bonus if that's the case, right?
Oh god, I just want to hang myself. I just Ghost end this podcast so I can go have a moment of shame.
I feel pissed.
So we're ending this podcast,
Oh,
and
You got
we
it.
didn't get
Yes.
really any mail this week.
So you guys should send us some fucking mail.
So if
send
you want to
us
send
mail,
us
we'll send
mail,
mail. You want to
can
sign up
do
for our
that.
newsletter?
through what the fuck was the mail?
I just
Uh,
podcast at gmail.com. That's Giantbomb Community Podcast at gmail.com, all one word.
or
Dots in
if you're too fucking busy or bothered or I don't know why,
the forum.
if you don't want to send us mail, you can also post comments in our threads and in our YouTube videos.
Or on
If
the
you're
forum.
if you're that fucking lazy.
I didn't actually check the YouTube comments, so maybe there are some. Who knows?
Nope.
Did you check?
Yes.
Oh, is there just my comment?
Wait.
No. Yes.
Oh, that's
Wait,
not even my
here-
comment. All right.
So apparently it isn't only the listeners who are lazy, as it turns out.
Hey, I checked the emails. Okay, I can't be in charge of
Alright.
everything here, man.
Why not? Come on.
I know.
Pick up the slack.
That's
Stop bickering.
You're tearing
Okay.
this family
Are we-
apart.
Are we there yet?
Speaking of fucked up families, Xenoclash 2 is really good. Not gonna talk about it. Just play it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we did talk about it.
Xenoclash 2 next week. So
Yeah, next
you
week.
know, play and
I
comment.
guess that means
before-
I'll have to be here, but whatever. I have to record
Let's
it.
end this shit.
Yeah.
You are listening to the Giant Bomb Community Podcast, joined by Akbar the Great, Nyx Iron, Red and Black, Atlas, and me. I was your host, Ghost Yet. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Man Kraken.
Drugs.
Yeehaw!
Peace.
I like how we all tried to do little and stinger joke, but
I didn't try to do a stinger joke.
I didn't.
Who do you think I am? Mr. Mosquito, topical and stinger related. Although that's technically not a stinger, it's a proboscis.
go drink the blood out of a 14-year-old girl in a bathtub.
I thought she was 8.
Oh, she 8?
I don't know. That's what I
she was
heard.
like
That's what Jeff said. I don't know.
I've
Holy
got a
shit,
good B
Billy?
joke that I saw on Twitter.
I know. Jeff is an expert on underage girls, so I just kind of believed him.
Yeah.
He did play Galgun, right?
その歌が誰のものなのか。誰のものなのか決めきれた鑑定と素朴な疑問とあなたのものではないと丸虫と当然の主張